Humaniste. That means I see the human in you. For you human niggas, making this video today to inform you there's a way to go past your humanity. The tools are out there. One of those tools are going to be coming up June 3rd in New York. A Brother Rich joint. Black Magic 363. I believe that's also the YouTube channel of Brother Rich, which you guys should know and have subscribed to already. Where this is where you will get to see some of the best interviews we have to offer in metaphysics, occult science, and anything that's going to expand your mind. So we can go down the list of whatever you want to call it. Now it's woke, which is another silly term. Just keep rehashing shit as if we evolving. And you got to understand, and I'm going to talk about this, and primarily talk about this at this particular lecture that I'm going to give you the information for. How we have these rehashed words, simulation and all of this shit that keeps explaining the same thing over and over. But if in your mind you think you're coming to a better place, you tend to think that you're expanding your consciousness. But I'm going to show you how simulation was already in the game. It's just when white people start admitting it to you, you tend to start believing it. But this has already been expressed to you by some of our elders in the game, who revealed these ancient understandings about where it is you actually this reality, where it is you actually live. These understandings have already been revealed, and revealed on this network of consciousness, whatever this shit has become. Humaniste. So the tool, or one of the tools to help you, will be this one, I believe, because this is in the vein of the old school consciousness. This is a gathering of the metaphysical masters, and we need to have every seat with an ass in it, because that's how important I believe this type of lecture will be. And if you never witnessed a live lecture, this is the one you want to have the experience with. You know what I mean? I've seen people who never witnessed a live lecture, and they told me the first thing they went to is those debates. And quite frankly, that's not the true experience. This will be the true experience or it will put you in the you will totally get the gist of what this thing is about and how important it was to a lot of folks in terms of mind expansion. It's going to be in this order, speaking three of us. The Duke of Tears, he's going to speak. He's going to open it up. I'm not sure of his YouTube channel, but it's easy to find. The Seer, the Duke of Tears. I mean, online, he's been teaching for quite some time now. And those who aren't familiar with his work, I suggest you get familiar with his work and come to see him on June 3rd. Then I'll go and I'm going to talk about being plugged into the matrix, the simulation, what that really means. I'm expand on it. I'm going to tell you some elements after we get this information out. Then one of the brand masters, Brother Phil, is going to close out the night. And I think it's going to be a big, big, big deal. You know what I mean? So this is absolutely where you guys should be. You know what I mean? This is going to be in Brooklyn, New York, at St. Francis College. That's at 180 Remsen Street. That's spelled Remson. That's in Brooklyn, New York, and the zip code is 11201. So get it right in your GPS. 180 Remsen Street. Remson Street. This is June 3rd. It's going to start at 2 p.m. sharp. So tickets are $50 at the door. It's a little bit more expensive because of what you're getting, but it's actually not expensive at all. That is a cheap price. That is a cheap price. Really, that's a cheap price for one speaker, because what you're getting is life-changing information, true life-changing information, not rooting for the guy who you feel is correct in an argument, which is not learning, is just going there to appease what you already know. What we're trying to bring, what was always the intention, is to bring that which you did not know, that which you did from a perspective of gods who study, who dedicated their life to studying, to reveal, you get what I'm saying, to be able to explain it in a way that others who don't have the time, or just or just don't have the way to look at things in the way that some of these masters can. And the good news is they're revealing these secrets to you. They're revealing this understanding to you. The time of the hidden is over. The time of the secret is over. We're in the information age, and we need to take information and weave it into something that weave it into this reality, and that's a process. That's a process. I'm gonna be speaking on that, as I've always spoke on that. That process, that methodology, on June 3rd. For event info, you can call 646-472-4219. For vending info, you can call 347-496-1022. You gotta take off your glasses to see. 347-496-1022. That's for vending info. For event information, 646-472-4219. You can also buy advance tickets for this event, only $50. You can go to www, we do it like Bobby, www Black Magic with a K .eventbrite.com. That's www.blackmagic.eventbrite.com. You can go there for advanced ticket information. This is gonna be a monster. This is gonna be a monster. So I'll talk about it again as we come up. I'm in Phoenix. Like I said, Khadijah's doing a seminar, kicking out a whole bunch of green mucus. So I know I'm looking a little bit peaked. No tip. Because that LA, now, the lecture was 100% success. Visa did her thing. She got the spot. Asses was in the seat. Every seat had an ass. And rocked and roll. You can get the DVDs from Visa, of course. Go to her website, Culturally Speaking, and go and get the DVDs. Go and get the DVDs of all the live lectures. Live lectures are a different thing from sitting here on YouTube in front of a camera. Much more information, much more energy. So it's definitely something. If you can't make it, and we try to hit most of the major cities And a lot of people come from all over. We have people from Texas, in Cali, and a couple other places. They told me where they had to travel. You know what I mean? And they're willing to travel because they at least want to witness this type of thing. You know what I mean? Because the live lecture is the energy where all of this shit started. YouTube and all that is a side effect of what was really going on here. Um, the light that you get, and from just being there is, it's the difference from here listening to a Public Enemy record, which is powerful, than going seeing them perform that song. You get what I'm saying? I was blown the fuck away. In that era, or X Clan, seeing them live. That's why you want to see a band live. That's why people go to concerts, because it's a whole different experience to see that artist perform that song versus the record. And YouTube is nothing but the record. So when you go to the live lecture, you go into the concert, if you will, and it's a whole different place, a whole different energy, a whole different transference of energy. That's why this one is going to be major. We haven't seen one like this in quite some time. So I want to honor Brother Rich for even having the the balls, really, to put this shit together. When it's easier to do other things, you know what I mean? It's easier just to do it on YouTube. And it's easy to just have niggas argue with each other to appeal to the lower base
instincts of folks that exist in us all. You know what I'm saying? It's like, y'all, most of y'all may not remember, Jerry Springer was a serious goddamn guy. He was an interviewer. Maury Povich was a serious guy who set out to do serious shows. Then his shows became You Are the Baby's Daddy. The niggas pop lock when they find out the answer ain't no. Humanist. And Jerry Springer just turned into smacking bitches on the stage. You get what I'm saying? And he was taking himself serious. Richard Bay, they had a show People Are Talking. Then it became Fat Bitch Makeovers. Jenny Jones was serious. Then it became just makeovers and dumb shit. So was Ricky Lake. Then it became Phil Donahue was actually one of the first shows that really dealt with serious. You know what I mean? He at least put them on the table. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And when they noticed Geraldo and all them, when the highest ratings are when Geraldo got hit in the face with a fucking chair, and then he came in with all that shit on his nose. And then you had Morton Downey Jr., who Al Sharpton and them was on the show, so they was pretending to be a serious show. But, Roy Ennis smacked the shit out of Al Sharpton, all this cursing and fighting and rioting. They started to know just the ratings are higher when these type of shows come into play. And so all they really said was, instead of, it's harder to be serious and easier for us to appeal to the people's lower base instincts. And then this, of course, brought forth the reality shows, news instead of reporting real news. Who's to say they ever were really? Started really going for the dramatic aspect of the story, the bullshit. And they've already, you got YouTube videos proving that they're liars, proving that they're under an agenda where they show certain key programming words and subliminal messages, and then they'll go from every single news station and seeing them repeat the same exact words all over the country as news is being reported by, like, let's say Fox or whatever company that may own a different would have these YouTube videos on it where they say whatever program word. You'll see them cut to everyone saying all is fine, and you can get up to 30, 40 of the network news shows saying all is fine in a certain kind of way, in a little bit more detail, in a certain kind of way, where you know they is not only is it, of course, it's scripted, but there's an agenda that goes throughout, and they say it in action and reaction to certain things that are happening, or about certain things that are happening, and so you clearly could see that they understand the concept that there's a war within you, your humanity versus your higher nature. And this is basic metaphysical understanding. And why I still need to talk about basic metaphysical understanding, because a lot of metaphysical hopefuls have been tricked into these arguments masquerading as teaching on consciousness. Your lower animal self has been manipulated and stimulated, and you justify the behavior because people use big words and they put shit behind them and up in lights in a PowerPoint. Doing something that's intelligent, evolving, and really truly worth your time metaphysically. You're just entertaining yourself, and you're entertaining that parts that just want to see a fight, want to see competition, want to be right. It's a ego. It's a You're jerking off or masturbating your ego. And that's clear. That's hands down. That format and that work model, I just told you, I showed you that in the oh, there's some tea in this motherfucker. I just showed you that in that and how they did talk shows through the years. You get what I'm saying? That they realize this moment of finding out who the baby daddy is. This shows like Divorce Court, where all they really have to do is come out and say, here's the results. Not Divorce Court, Paternity Court. Here's the results. You are the father, you're not the father. But they make sure they get to the nitty gritty. They make sure they argue a little bit, and then they talk to me. But this is what they want. Judge Mathis is a fucking fool. You know what I'm saying? A fool, very smart. And you could tell you could see why they picked all of these people. On the bench, they were just bebopping and scatting. And then they said, let's just put it on TV. And they did. And now you got to see this argument back and forth. Back and forth. Judge Judy, I watch this bitch all the time. You can tell she could end it in 3 minutes, but she lets them go because people want to see this. They want to pick the side. Is it the plaintiff, or the defendant? Who you feeling? And then you see the way she adjudicates it, and then you're like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? I feel good for nothing that this one won boxing. You already pick. You could not know the fighters and not too much be a fan, but you already picked the motherfucking the one you want to win. You know what I'm saying? So that's why that's why the big fights are between black and white people. They only wish white people could fight better. And then, black people gonna pick black people, white people gonna be one for no other reason. And they white and they black like you. This is your lower nature. The metaphysician or the occultist understands something about the middle point. So the way to express that in a lecture is how it has been expressed. My brother Bobby, definitely myself, to echo those words, that you have to go beyond humanity. Humanity is not your needs to shit,
and eat, let's just say. It is, but that's not what this means metaphysically. What humanity truly is how you feel about this reality and how serious you. The most serious human is the absent of what I'm talking about. As he may be Obama, Harvard educated, and may be on fire around this motherfucker in terms of how he can intellectualize every situation and come up with, you may not even have or haven't even begin to in terms of in your mind, but that's not what makes you anything in the world of occultism or the world of a true metaphysics, mental mind. The idea is you're abstaining from this reality, which isn't real. What we're calling this this idea of reality, this thought, this dream that we're calling reality isn't real at all. And the more you invest in it, even with your so-called intelligence, the loss you are in terms of who you truly are. So even in your mind, to abstain, one of the ways to abstain from humanity is picking sides. Those who rule you in this current day and age, and let's call them by whatever name you love, Illuminati, the Bilderbergs, Baphomet, whatever the fuck you want to call them, they're not emotionally invested in no side but the advancement of their control. So if today, so in other words, when they pick a president, they can pick Obama and feel comfortable, and then the whole opposite of, or seeming opposite of Obama, Trump, and be just as comfortable. Their one middle point agenda moves forward. Regardless if it's the good guy, seemingly, or the bad guy. Both of those work for that one agenda. The one agenda is the goal. So the one agenda for you is to return to the mind of God. And that would entail not picking a side. And I know it's hard, but none of this shit is easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it and wouldn't be saying Jesus is going to save them. It's not easy, but it is what lays before you. It is what they mean when they talk about the law of polarity. You get what I'm saying? Like and unlike are the same. All truths are but half-truths. So if you were one to think Obama was the truth, by our law of Tahuti, because all you niggas is dressing up Egyptian anyway, by our very law, he is a half-truth. I am a half-truth. And you must find that middle point, if even in what I say. Therefore, you've heard over the years Bobby, Brother Phil, and many others say, do not follow me. I cannot lead you. I can only offer you information. With that information, you have to find the middle point for you. You understand? You have to find the middle point for you. If you're going to find a debate, you can find the middle point, but the nature of an argument, which is what a debate is, tends to pull out your lower nature and have you pick a side. See, I thought something was wrong with me because I would watch this for entertainment. Now, I could change. I understand the difference between my work and how to give the baby its bottle. So I watch this for shits and giggles. And when I watch it, I'll be like, oh, that nigga sound like he's going to win. And then I hear the other dude and go, whoa, that nigga sound like he's going to win. And then their rebuttal or whatever the fuck they call it, that nigga sounds like he's going to win again. And then I thought there was something wrong. Then I started to understand, based upon the true work I've done to put myself in this middle point, I could see both sides. I can see both sides as failures and both sides as winners. I'm no longer wrapped into picking anymore. I don't really give a fuck. Now, this is not for the practical day-to-day understanding. Somebody say, nigga, grilled cheese is the best. I'm gonna say, man, fuck that grilled cheese sandwich thing. I don't eat it. So, I mean, we're not talking about that. You know what I'm saying? We're not pettying it down to that. So you may say, Panic, motherfucking raisins. And I go, grapes. Raisins, grapes. But after a while, you'll find me going, you know something? Maybe raisins, whatever. And I'm still going to like grapes. But I'm not going to sit there going back and forth with you trying to convince you that what's in my mind is the greatest. Grapes may be the greatest to me. But that's all it should mean, is the greatest to me. And then we act as if there can't be more than one point of view, which is the most incredible part of this to me, out of it all, because there are many paths to light. The question becomes, are you finding light? So the questions become, did any of you find light watching this shit? Or did you just find someone to cheer for and wait for his next or hers next YouTube video? So you could have, and then when they crash and burn like they have, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Because when you're stimulating all these lower natures in folks, and you become the center of it, that energy eventually is going to come your way. It's going to manifest. That's what you've been asking for. You've been saying no homo, no high heel socks, no motherfucking peanut butter, and no motherfucking jelly. And eventually all the high heel socks, homos, peanut butter and jelly lovers, that energy is coming even as a mental attack, just even in their thoughts. You're dealing in a very low frequency. That's it. It's just as simple as that. And what this ultimately does, what those who are in the know ultimately need for you to do, is to participate in it, because you make their game real. What happens is participants keep the shit real. Hillary Clinton fucked up when, after 9/11, she got up there and said, how do you, or even other politicians said it too, and y'all didn't catch this. Y'all caught the stupidity of what they were saying, but you didn't get the occult understanding of what they were saying. They said, after the terrorist attack, keep buying McDonald's. That's what Hillary Clinton. We need you guys. Y'all got to keep buying McDonald's. Y'all got to go shopping. They said, to get back at the terrorists, go shopping. And people clown that shit. But what they were saying from the occult perspective, because it sounds stupid on the top when you deal with it with your intellect, your rationalization, your reasoning, or your ego. It sounds stupid. What a stupid thing to say. But what they were saying from the occult perspective is, we need you to understand that the simulation is still moving. So you need to play your part in the simulation for the whole model to stand. If you understand this is a simulation, and this is some of the things that y'all giggled and laughed at Bobby, not Adam, but didn't really get it while you were laughing. He was saying that this simulation, or this place you're in, can be anything based upon your thoughts. So if you think peach soda could heal you, you only think echinacea could heal you because you were told. You don't have a fucking lab. What tests have you done on echinacea? Oh, the frequency, you can't really measure it. It was said, and you could say it is that. It's from our mind, and it's a high frequency, and I'm sure there were ways we can test this and set it, but you're in agreement with it. If you were in agreement that peach soda, like he said, can heal you, if you were in that agreement, you understand what I'm saying, It will. And that's what he's saying. That's what Bobby was saying. And that's what they're saying when they tell you to keep shopping, keep buying McDonald's. They're saying act as you always acted to actually get past this shit. And they'll tell you that in the laws of attraction too. You know what I'm saying? Act as if. Act as if. So if you don't have a Corvette, hang out with Corvette people. Walk like you got a Corvette. See yourself in a Corvette. I remember there was a drum machine course, $2,000. And no, I'm sorry, about 3,000 and some odd dollars. And this was impossible for a nigga in 1990. You know what I'm saying? You had to be in the game already to have something like this. And, you know, selling drugs, you know, he wasn't saving up for this, you know, at a young age. So I remember when I moved to my grandmother's house, I set everything up in the space for the machine. And not knowing any metaphysics or any laws of attraction, which comes from the law of cause and effect, actually. You know, that's some made up other shit to try to explain something deeper, but not give you the real deep source. And, you know, every cause has an effect, every effect has a cause. There's no such thing as coincidence, just this law not understood. And to understand the law, what you put in, you get out. Simple as that. You reap what you sow. And what you sow is with your thoughts. Your thoughts are the seeds. So in this reality, if you move and shape this reality as if, it starts to manifest. You think like a millionaire, you will be rich. My son, who you would look at as your son, you know, all the shit that you could see, the holes in this game. The one hole I don't see, this motherfucker is the most convinced motherfucker ever. And I'm proud to say I gave him a book, which I still recommend. I read it when I was 18, called The Hidden Power by James Van Fleet. Something, how to unlock the powers of the subconscious mind. But Hidden Power by James Van Fleet. He talks and speaks specifically on repetition and reprogramming the subconscious. He gives you a thorough understanding of the subconscious mind and the differences between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Is one of the first books that really blew me away, and I've seen that worked. And I gave it to him. And out of all the fucked up shit, one time I went downstairs in the basement. This nigga had a board up writing out all his goals. I seen him writing shit on the wall, tacking shit to the wall. I am successful. I am this. I am that. And I was like almost fucked up. You know, I was in about to kick his ass mode, seeing that shit and said, wow. And then when you talk to him, he's so matter of fact about what he wants and where he'll be, that I have no doubt in my mind, no doubt, he's gonna do exactly that. He needs to grow, as I had to grow at 18, into understanding how to manipulate and operate in this social structure of this simulation. And in other words, we call that he had to grow up a little bit, become a man, become mature. That's what we call it. Being mature is just another way of saying how to act. You know what I'm saying? When you're a kid, you don't know how to act. You're God. You just came back from that world, so you're not conforming to the norm. So once a little bit of that conformity comes in for his human discipline, his will, as long as that conformity does not change his will, which he is pure will at this point, he'll be fine. You get what I'm saying? He'll be fine. And I don't remember why we went off on that tangent. And I don't remember what the fuck I was talking about before then, so fuck it. Humor stay. It'll come back. Bobby and a peach soda. Okay, so Hillary and those guys, they was saying this because Your participation is key. Now that's on the American social agenda of the simulation. Personal day to day, it's your picking of sides. It's your hate for the white man. Let's say that, which is such a baby way of looking at things. You shouldn't be emotional about it. I mean, we understand what white supremacy is. And white supremacy is just the same way I moved all of the everything I needed to get this drum machine. And that's what I was talking about. And had a space for it. So what I was doing was starting to see and use my will to find a way to make this $3,000 and some odd dollars drum machine appear, to make it a reality. You understand? And having this drum machine puts you one up on the game. Usually you would take the samples that you thought you heard in your mind, bring it to a studio, and the engineer would use the drum machine that was there to sample, program it like you wanted, and you had a record. But to have this at home, to be able to craft those samples on your own time, or not paying $100 something an hour for someone else to do what's coming out your mouth, which was pretty accurate. But to be able to do this puts you one up on the game. So this drum machine had to get there. Now, this is how they manipulate you. They already set up their situation while you slept. They have to keep the party rolling. To keep the party rolling, you have to play your role. And that's what Hillary Clinton was saying when she said, go shopping, buy hamburgers. Because that's what America is. And you can say all the things about being un-American, but if you're not buying McDonald's hamburgers, you're un-American. And you're useless if you're not shopping. So, and I'm not saying we should fight by stopping that. There are greater things to put your energy into. Buy the shit that you want. Who gives a fuck? In the end, what's really going to take them down is your awareness, your return to the God mind, which I think even if you stop buying and protest it, we see how far that goes. That doesn't do anything. To even protest it is another way of making the simulation real. If I say I seen a mule doing arithmetic, and 1,000 motherfuckers go on YouTube to say I'm full of shit. There's no such thing as a mule who can do arithmetic, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It just isn't done. Then you got doctors saying mule brains aren't built like that. You see, if you look in their medulla oblongata, and then you look at deep in the core, what you'll find is they don't have the necessary frontal lobe ingredients to add 4 plus 4. They will add 4 plus 4, and it will always be 6 to them based upon the mule's natural genetic lineage, which is horse and donkey. You understand? So when this came about, they lost a vital element in the DNA strand. The AC equal force equal length that connects them is what connects algebraic formulation to denote or delete the immediate reaction, which connects the base form that erases arithmetic. By me even doing all of that, and there's talk shows, politicians that will come on and say their piece, all going against me saying that mules can do arithmetic, also makes it real. So your protest, your hate for the white man is the actual thing that actually keeps this party popping. So while you think you're abstaining from these things, you say it's real, the mere fact that you have to abstain from it. The trick is not to give a fuck. Either way, that middle point, that's the God mind. Way in that middle point is the God. That's where the God sits. That's the throne of the God. I don't give a fuck either way. I'm not going to protest and I'm not going to celebrate shit. And that's not on the level saying, that's fucked up. Of course you're going to say it's fucked up. You're not stupid. You're not blind. But your emotional need to fall into this some sort of way, either by speech, aggression, motherfucking the cracker did it again. Son of a bitch. You stay. Or your need to say how important the chakras are to us. And your chakras are wonderful. No tep. I want to learn Metruneta now. Ukatna ura. Utna atakra na asana kaweno. Uchiwale wale. Uchiwale wale. Chiwale wale. You feel somehow that you have tapped into something. You just made yourself very prideful. That was for a different time. We are in a different time. We are in the now. You're better off talking like, you're better off saying slang now, because the only true law of the universe is constant change. And if you're not in the cusp of that change, you're not in the spirit of it. You understand what I'm saying? You're not in the spirit of it. The idea of learning where you're from, all the people on the walls of Kemet were black and their nose looks just like mine. You see that? And all of that shit. It really is just to make you proud if you're not dealing with what they were speaking on, what science they were talking about. You understand? How do you recognize the law of Tahuti and the law of polarity in particular, and then have arguments when the law expressly tells you the science of the argument or the debate? Like and unlike are alike. They're halves of the same truth. And they'll tell you how the masters rise to that truth in a whole different way. And to decode what they mean by that, how the masters are not manipulated and the masters are able to change their own polarity. It means you're able to see both sides of that coin. So if you're going to say the white man is from the caves, which he is, and you're going to say he ate his own doo-doo, which he did, and you're going to say, you know, they just crawled out of these caves, wouldn't you do what he's done if that was you? I would do, if I was in his position and I've seen the original man in their position, sleeping, bullshitting, falling deeper into humanity, starting to take spiritual systems and making them religious, like Ifa, scared, don't even understand these gods are from their minds. I seen a motherfucking show where a nigga got beat upside his fucking head. Then the shaman was sucking the blood out his head. And in the end, he said, this year, I will have many fish because of it. Like, nigga, no, the white man didn't come and fuck you up. You was already down that road. Or he just came and took advantage of an opportunity because of his condition. So it's not like I'm saying I condone this or condone that. I don't give a fuck either way. You know what I'm saying? You still have to work within, and you made a choice to come back now to do that work, not to complain about it, player. You understand? I don't give a fuck either way, because I understand to be a true master, you must be in the middle point. And you have to see both sides. So I understand why he would do what he would do. But what would you do? if someone said, tomorrow I grant you a wish, what will your first wish be? Probably be a whole bunch of shit addressed towards white people. Not even to say, I want to know who I am. You know what I'm saying? You find yourself not even dealing with your science. And this is because your programming has not been addressed. In the simulation, and the nature of the simulation comes with the fact that it could be programmed like a game. Your mind is the ultimate programmer of this simulated game. And let's first say this, because even having to use this word simulation, it actually really bothers me on the level that we don't understand. And you know, and let me say bothers me in the context of how I can explain it, because really I don't give a fuck. You either get it or you don't get it. You know what I'm saying? This is totally on you. It's not on me to save you. It's on you to save yourself. So since I've discussed this, let me make it clear. So when you hear me, it bothers me, it disturbs me. Really doesn't. It's just a way to put it in the context for you to say, okay, you know, blah, blah, blah. And now you'll get my point. But really, I don't give a fuck. You got to, I hope you get it. And, you know, and that'll be nice. But if you don't, you know what I'm saying, you'll be here another lifetime. I'm not coming back. You know what I'm saying? I had to be convinced to come here now to teach this shit. Oh, no, I went through this already. You know what I'm saying? It's either your turn to go through this shit, or you made a choice to come here for a specific thing. Get on your job. So what bothers me is using this word simulation like it's the newest, hottest shit. It is not. It has been decoded. We didn't have the word stimulation or could apply the word simulation to our understanding of the world at the time. So we called it the illusion. We call it Maya, the world of appearances. You understand? So, and like I said, I'm going to go into detail about this D-Wave simulation, how we're plugged in, how to unplug in this lecture on June 3rd. And so you're going to have to wait till then to get the whole full Monty. You know what I'm saying? This is at the Gathering of the Metaphysical Masters. Aseer, the Duke of Tears, Aseer, the Duke of Tears, spelled Tiers. If you don't know who he is or haven't heard of him, Google him. You'll find he teaches, and has been teaching for quite some time. Brother Phil Valentine, one of the elder masters, will be there at St. Francis College, you know, along with myself. That's at 180 Remsen Street. That's in Brooklyn, New York, 11201. June 3rd, 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. Get your ass there. Only $50 at the door. For advanced tickets, go to www.blackmagic, spelled with a K, MIGIK, Blackmagic with a K, .eventbrite.com. This is an event being hosted by Brother Rich, Black Magic 363. You can also call 646-472-4219 for information. And vending info 496-1022. And so you're gonna have to get it there, where I'm gonna go into much detail. But these words that we use are saying the same thing. In a computer age, when they say simulation, all of a sudden you get it because you have a context that you could grasp. But these things have been said. But see, you need to understand why they rehash these words, because they feel that you are going to fall on the original ancient teachings of this and connect it to something more divine. So if they can pretend to bring this information to you as forward information, as new information, you attribute what you may be feeling about this place to them. Same way you felt when The Matrix came out. Even the dead person, not even the metaphysical person, said something about this movie rings true to me. Something about it. And that something was deep in your spirit. And even though you couldn't intellectualize or consciously say it, you waited for either metaphysical masters to say it, or people online to say it, or bits and fragments of it to say it. So then again, but the metaphysical masters, like, good, they only put it in the movie, that which we've been teaching. So now we have a reference to talk about it on a level that you understand. You understand? So they now had a place where they could say, remember when Neo did that? Well, remember when I said that? Or they could say that now because Neo did it. You understand? So they took complex ideas and fed it to you in the media or the way you're used to. They took so now you had Neil deGrasse Tyson and that dude Gray, who say all this complex shit, or saying it in a complex way, actually, because they could take that shit and make it simple. But those guys, they don't want them to come off as simple. They want them to come off as something that's beyond you, that is intellectually superior, and the bits and fragments that you catch as someone who calls himself an intellectual person would satisfy themselves with this because you're too intellectual to believe in Jesus Christ, in the Lord thy Savior, a man in the sky that's counting your deeds. So once you're too intellectual for that, they give you these astrophysicists and these seminars that you're able to view in Neil deGrasse Tyson shows on the Science Channel, or whatever the fuck it is, where you kind of, especially him being black now, that says a lot, because the idea of Neil deGrasse Tyson, the idea of NASA, is to sell you evolution. The core understanding of evolution says to the black man and black woman, you're nothing. You're nothing. Every black girl, especially, and every black boy feels they're special, and you're made to feel even superior in a functional family through your mother and father. And you feel it even more when you ain't got no fucking money. You know what I'm saying? So your mother ain't got nothing to do but talk about my sister and her dimples, how her dimples could get her anywhere. Your dimples and your smile and your, of course, your brain. You're very intelligent. You're very smart. My mother, you're very to me, you're very handsome. You're very smart. You can do this. Nothing but self-esteem things, and you feel that. So you feel you're special, and this special feeling is supposed to eventually lead up to you studying who you are truly and becoming the God. And we're only saying that God is a reference point because you're actually more advanced than that. God is just a creator. So to be able to create any reality that you want, like I created that drum machine eventually, is the ultimate point. So evolution sells you on, you came from monkeys, you're not special, this is all random events. There's a big, vast universe that's unending, that there are more suns than there are grains of sand on every single beach on this planet. That's what they say. Which tells you each sun could have a whole planetary system, which means you're nothing. You're nothing. You're just one microdot in an unending, unfolding place that we can never in one lifetime ever understand or get to the end of. That's what NASA says they're working on. And NASA is the front or the media aspect for this evolution shit, which sells you on your worthlessness. See, but the sacred geometry ends all of that. When you see a pattern in numbers, in everything in creation, the Fibonacci code, pi, phi, and all the rest of that intellectual bullshit, that shows you that there is a design to this. So for those who just don't flatly believe as a child in God, the intellectual stimulation comes from NASA in believing that there's an evolutionary thing happening. If you understood that black women and black men have discovered everything there is to discover in this reality, has not only pimped it, has got the t-shirt for bringing it back to his glory, and went to sleep only to wake up in the time of leaving. And while we were sleeping, that's when this white man crawled out the cave and took advantage of us in our slumber. You understand? And that's how he began to rule, our ignorance. And you got to remember, we've been down here for so long, we went absolutely nuts, crazy. Even what you follow because you feel you're African and just African, that you're not, at the very least, your humanity belongs to every corner of this planet is yours. So for them to even regulate you to Africa, put you in a position where you argue, if I'm from here, then they must be from there. Now you're back in this lower argument again. Once you realize that everything in this universe, in it, around it, or on it, is yours, then game over for them. So it's in their interest to make you think you're from Africa and Africa alone. It's in their interest, because then that gives them an opposition, which they so desperately need. If you only realize they're the Johnny-come-latelys, you would think about them as you think about monkeys. You don't think in opposition of a monkey unless you're standing in the jungle with the fucking monkey. Once you play along monkey lines, you can't swing in trees like a monkey. So they will fuck you up. But put that monkey in a fucking hotel and ask them to pay the bill, and let's see how long that takes. It will probably take even longer for you to swing from one tree and catch a vine, nigga, 30 feet up. Human stay. You couldn't do it. You understand? You couldn't do it. And so you're playing along his game with this African bullshit. You understand? Or this just African bullshit. No tap. With this just I'm from Africa bullshit is really a small thing for you. And you don't even realize it. You think it's a symbol of pride. Nigga, I'm unapologetically God. You understand? All things. That universe is nothing but a hologram, and it's a projection from your pineal gland. This whole thing is a projection from your mind, nigga. You in a dream. Ain't no endless universe out there. It's an endless universe in here, my nigga. It's an endless universe up here in that middle point in your brain, that pineal gland. They've showed inside that third ventricle, and it has the same pattern as the universe, the Sirius star system. So, like in a movie, you don't believe Denzel's actually in the movie screen doing fences. You know there's a projector shooting you an image. This is the projector. This is the image. You understand? There's no vast universe out there that you can traverse one day. It's not. And you got to remember, well, you know, I had dreams of the aliens, and they came and they told me. The spirit will come to you on your level of consciousness. It will not exceed your consciousness. So if you're conscious and you believe a donkey could do arithmetic, there'll be an arithmetic doing donkey telling you whatever it is, because it's your subconscious mind communicating you in the way you understand, in the language that you understand. So if you understand arithmetic doing donkeys and that's your reality, then by golly gum, it will be arithmetic donkey teaching you what it is that's already being where you pushed for in your enlightenment. So you will wake up with a new revelation, but it's actually the question that you ask. It's the question that leads to enlightenment. So if you're not asking questions and you think you already fucking know, well, you get on YouTube and start and motherfucking repeating a bunch of shit, not giving out any bibliography, any references to the books that you fucking reading or the shit that you copying. Because what the fuck you think, it just came to you? You copying it, nigga. I can tell when a nigga's got a spiritual channel and has information to reveal. I've done this over the years. And when you repeating and reading out the book, give out the book, nigga. The audacity for a nigga to sit there and talk to you like you can't read yourself. If you can't read, then that's who you follow. If you can read, you come see me. Because I'm going to tell you what to read. I'm going to tell you what to read. The Magician by Philip Cooper. If you can get it, I have a PDF of it. We'll make some arrangements. That's probably one of the most transformative books, and that's why it's out of print. Because it gets to the nuts and bolts of how to use your mind. If someone is not telling you how to do it themselves, all they're doing is bragging. Bragging. Look what I know. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Fucking mouth-running motherfucking egotistical maniacs. Maniacs. You understand what I'm saying? Don't fall into this. This simulation can be manipulated by your mind. And my boy came to me, and with all these new sneakers, meanwhile, I'm like, nigga, you got a lot of new sneakers for someone who's supposed to be saving so we can continue doing what we do in the studio. He said, well, there's a drug dealer named World. He's in the hood. He just want me to rap. That nigga just buy me Nikes and shit. I said, nigga, what in the fuck, nigga? We need that drum machine, player. You think we can get him to get it? He said, I don't know. I said, well, introduce me to him and watch this happen. So in Queensbridge, we have the Hill. That's the center area. This nigga World comes up on the Hill. Prince go, there you go, right there. BMW, whatever this is. He was the top nigga in the hood at this time. You know what I'm saying? And of course, he's the loudest nigga in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Duh, 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 duh. So he introduces me to World. There's a whole scene of niggas on the Hill. It's lit up. You know what I'm saying? I'm worldwide, world famous, my nigga. I just want to be on right on like this. You know what I'm saying? I can't do this forever. Da, 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 da. You know, he's running his mouth for a long time. I just want to be down. You know what I'm saying? I hold something, kid. You know what I'm saying? For real. This shit right here is critical what I do. So I need to be on, you know what I'm saying, in the source. You know what I'm saying? Like regular folk just doing what they do. So I said in front of everybody, that's cool and everything, but you can't be down with us. It was nice to meet you and walk. Prince stayed there. Now I'm peeping this shit from a different location. You know, you see it. Nigga don't know who I am? I'm saying da 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 da. So after he was in Prince's ear, embarrassed in front of everybody, that I'm like, man, he ain't being down with us. You know what I'm saying? Prince came and said, all he did was say he's worldwide, he don't know what I am. I said, tell him this. Tell him if he buy the drum machine, he could be down. The next day, that nigga had a crispy SB12. You know what I'm saying? By Emu. Need anything else? But you need to go with it. I put it right in that fucking spot. And then I became one up on the game because I knew how to program. And then ate deliciously. And we let World be down. We honored our promise. It's just that he was a terrible rapper. And he eventually went on to something else. You know what I'm saying? And Drum Machine was there. So, not knowing what was happening then, looking back and remembering the will and how I harnessed that will by making physical arrangements, which is the ritual. You understand? That I made it possible, or I made space for this. Making space for shit. We need to learn how to throw old shit away. And these are old thoughts. If you're still hung up on Whitey Nigga, you dead. You dead, nigga. You dead, nigga. The niggas ain't. You can't on one hand call them nothing, and then every fucking time somebody put a camera on you, that's what you talk about in the context of them leading the story. If I talk about them, I put them in their proper place. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't swing on vines with monkeys. I can't keep up. You know what I'm saying? My ego don't go that way. I'm the first to admit it. I can't swing fast on vines with monkeys. But I know how to do what I do. You know what I'm saying? So it's in my interest to do what I do. It's in my interest to focus my attention on what I am. You know what I'm saying? Not what they are. And that's the first step. You know what I'm saying? So with that same drum machine I got from World that could sample, on the mic, I took a microphone and recorded myself saying, I am God. And then I looped that with that same drum machine. And I made a tape, two-sided, of me just saying to myself, I am God. And then I listened to that every night via the instructions of the James Van Fleet Hidden Power book. And then I found myself years later with Brother Shabazz from Eye Opener screaming, I'm God, nigga. I am God. I'm God, nigga. I am God. I am God. And I'm like, damn, that nigga look cuckoo right there. Just screaming, God, nigga. Why? Because I'm motherfucking God. And then even in hindsight, I said, why was I so aggressive and so adamant and so matter-of-factly, so sure? And even to this day, you ask me, who's God? I'm God, motherfucker. And when I say I'm God, we are of the one divine mind. We are not of the same ego. That's why we will always argue our points. So it doesn't make any sense to argue what is guaranteed to happen. There's guaranteed disagreement. So why would I invest in what is guaranteed, which ultimately leads me to nowhere? What I need to invest in is what I can convince myself to know. And what I know is I'm God. You understand? And because we share a divine mind, not a conscious mind, oh, you're God too. How do I know? Because I wouldn't even be wasting my time or breath, energy, trying to explain something to you. What I'm trying to do is break through your conscious ego to spark the divine in you, to talk to the part of you that goes beyond your fucking opinion. And I know you don't know how to rationalize or intellect or intellectualize with it because you're not supposed to. You're supposed to understand and feel it. We say it all the time. I feel you, son. I feel you, son. I feel you, shouted. I'm feeling that shouted. You're saying all of that because really you're supposed to be, this is your true intelligence center. What do you feel? You see motherfucking lectures and you feel like this motherfucker's full of shit. This motherfucker's, he's okay. He's half-assed. No, that's real. But then when he says words that you don't understand or maybe something that you haven't come across yet, maybe he is the shit because you start thinking up here. But you got to take it for what it is. Anyone could bring you information. You understand what I'm saying? But has anyone and everyone brought you transformative information? Information that you can use on your path to transform. Not information you can use to prove someone else wrong. Not information that you can use to make yourself feel better about the white man in his wretched condition. You understand? Information that you can use when you once internalize to bring you to a new level of consciousness. If they're not doing that, they're fucking jerking your dick off. And not even jerking you off to orgasm. They're jerking you off and then walking. They're stimulating your dick walking away before you even bust a nut. And then you find yourself trying to put your dick back in their hand each time they have a new video or a new debate. But you're absolutely getting nowhere. Because ultimately you have to bust your own nut. Because this thing could be made or manipulated with your mind. That's a part of the game or the simulation that you're in. It could be made to be manipulated with your mind. You first have to take back your own mind. You first have to understand your mind in the layers and how it works. You niggas do not. You do not. You try to access your ancient information and spirituality with your public school education. The way you were taught to be trained in public school is how you approach or how you decide to decipher some ancient information which was meant to be deciphered through here, which is your knowing. Here is your reasoning. Here is your guessing. Here is your trying to intellectualize, and intellect can only go as far as the information you have. And there's half truths in all of this information we have. You're going to have to put it together based upon your will. The same way my will got that drum machine sitting there in 1990. 1990, I was, well, in 88, I was 20. So I was about 23. That was impossible. I was working at a drugstore, and rap music was not even that valuable. By the time you put 3Gs in your hand, you did a lot of shows or a lot of whatever, and you wasn't spending that shit on one purchase. You know, that was a bunch of Nikes and shirts and Gap clothes. You know what I'm saying? And you know, so that was a big deal. That was a big deal. And I taught a lot of people how to program, inspired a lot of people, you know, having this drum machine. From that drum machine, based upon my programming in 93, I had it since 91, actually. And 2 years later, in 93, I called Marley Marl and said, I just wanted to hear him to hear some of the beats and maybe buy some. And I called him and was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I got a drum machine, been had it, and you know, I've been getting busy. Shit is sounding right now. He said, good, I need an in-house producer to come up here on salary. Before he heard anything, I came up there. You know, he already had several of these drum machines. So, you know, all I had to do was bring discs. Came up there, played them shit, and he said, I'm sold. Popped some champagne and said, you on salary, player? I said, my nigga. You know, Marley had this reputation of jerking people, you know, all these jerk, but that's just the nature of the business, you know, big dog get it first. So Marley got to deal with, let's say, well, I'll tell you the actual situation. Whatever that label was, it was Janet Jackson, I think, was on the label, like who the fuck remembers? He got a deal with them and got a deal. It was a 2-artist deal. I don't think he even signed the second artist. He was thinking about me and my boy Prince, the one who was wearing the Nikes, or got the Nikes from World. He was thinking about it, but it just never went that far. But it was Janet Jackson's label. I do remember that. I think so. A something. Started with an A. But he did sign Traj, or Traj Gaddafi, or the Intelligent Hoodlum. I think it was the Intelligent Hoodlum deal. He's now Traj Gaddafi. And he was in, Traj was in, years later, after his deal, maybe 2 albums already been released. He was in California, and some white boy showed him the budget that Marley got. And in Traj's mind, him and Marley was partners, you know, street logic. You go half-half, you know what I'm saying? What you get, I get. But in the music business, Marley is the one that brokered this deal. Traj wouldn't have a situation if it wasn't for Marley. So Marley is supposed to get the lion's share of that deal and then break his artists off what he decides to break them, that little 100,000 in advance for them to deliver an album, which Marley's going to do the album at his house. So they're not even paying for anything, but Marley will get out of the budget what it entails for his work. So it's real. That's the business. And so Traj, of course, gets back to New York, goes to Marley's house. First he blows Marley up on the phone. I'm going to beat that ass. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You know, Marley's not a fighter. You know what I'm saying? So Trash gets to Marley's house. Marley already knows what it is. Marley don't want to come outside. He's shit is like the projects. Come out, nigga. You know, Trash is walking in that figure eight, ready to get his knuckles bruised. And Marley don't want to come out. Derek comes out. Derek is Marley's cousin. He was also a manager. Comes out the garage. Oh, we don't know what's going on. Yo, what's up, Trash? What's the deal? Trash run up in the house. Come outside and put on your shoes. She said, Marley's crying, real tears. We're brothers. She got him outside, you know what I'm saying? He's putting the pressure on him. Marley said, go to Burt Padell's. Burt Padell was the agent or whatever he was. There's a check for you. You know what I'm saying? He gave him a SP12, that same drum machine, gave him that and a couple other things. MP3. And got that Burt Padell check and was getting checks for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what the fuck I was telling y'all that shit for. Yeah, so I know the spirit is going on. I don't remember what the fuck I was telling y'all that shit for. I said, you know, oh, yeah, in-house producer. So that drum machine brought me into a lot of doors. Clark Kent heard my work, did a lot of work with him at the time. He wanted me for in-house as well, did a lot of shit. You know, there's a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? Eventually the Public Enemy and a whole bunch of remixes and a whole bunch of shit, Class Act, what's that shit, Tales in the Hood movie, you know, see, in the game, let's say this is an actual one, ABC, there was a group called ABC, Another Bad Creation, and they wanted to remix one of their songs. So they'll give that to all the top producers. They'll give it to Marley, they'll give it to Hank Shockley, who was in the Bomb Squad, Large Professor, Mark the 45 King. These are all the old niggas that was hot. And they'll say, remix it. And the best one wins, right? But each of these men had to be paid. They get paid a certain amount just for their time. And once they hand in the project, they get their second half. And then if they get picked, they get a bigger second half, I guess, or a bigger bonus. So you can live just off of your name and getting remix offers that whole year. Marley and us, we was doing all these remixes and none of them got picked except for Class Act. And we would get that money. Then I started, see, but this is how the business go. Marley would hear some shit like Class Act, Kid and Play. It was terrible. He sat down listening to that shit and was like, yo, I ain't touching this. Yo, you want it? We're like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I was on salary, so whatever he got for that first half or the second half, I'm not in on that. I'm not in on that business half. So niggas would hear this, and because they had a street mentality, Marley's jerking me, son. But he really wasn't jerking me. I wouldn't have a situation if it wasn't for him. My agreement was my salary, so I got to eat that until I move on and get points. So, and then whatever, it's like the Lords of the Underground was there. They came through. He said, I want you to do the whole album. Now, at this point, I'm like, nah, because whatever he hits me on the point spread is going to be dead. He's going to take the lion's share, and I'm going to get a pittance for doing the whole album. I don't really give a fuck. I was giving him whack shit, then he fired me. Then K-Def. For many moons, he was still paying me that check. I wasn't even coming to the house no more. And like I said, Marley's not a gangster, so he had to take a while to stop it. Like, the budget's getting low. He ain't hit me with like, yo, nigga. He was saying like, snide, like, he was like, yo, meet me in the city, because Moni Love was doing the album. She didn't like the sound at Marley's house, so she wanted to do it at Unique Studios. You know, more expensive, eating out the budget, her budget, and Marley's production budget. But, you know, so he get an ill hotel room, and shit was ill. Lounge, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, nigga, you can go to your family's house, nigga, because he lived upstate. TV, shit was wild. So, of course, I'm from the city, so he's like, yo, come through. I'm at Unique. Went to Unique. You know, he's like, yo, man, how it feel to get paid and not do nothing? I'm like, come on, man, I'm working, man, da-da-da-da. So he was starting with that already. Then LL came back up for 14 shots to the dome. He was fucking Quincy Jones' daughter. So his son QD3 or whatever, or QJ3 or whatever, Quincy Jones the third, I guess, was producing. So he picked a lot of that. A lot of the songs that Marley had on 14 Shots to the Dome was from shit they did from Mama Said Knock You Out. And so they just remixed it, sparked it up. So he was up there. And that's around the time Marley was like, yo, the budget and blah, 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 blah. L is doing other songs, so I didn't get the budget, da 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 da. I can't pay you. So he really just let me go because, in the end, I'm going to say I wasn't taking, it always comes down to some taking advantage because ultimately he's taking advantage of me and my work, even though that's just how it goes in the business. So ultimately, you're going to eventually just slack off and do your own thing because you're always trying to come up where you have people under you. So, don't know why I told you that, but more than from this one happening of attracting machine, I knew all the situations that would come from it, and many have. So, this one act, my will of magnetizing this, changed my whole reality in this simulation. So, this is what they call your God powers, your ability to do that. Not your greed or your lust for the material as much as it's to make the material not a problem. You understand what I'm saying? For me, the material is not a problem. And this is because this is what it entails for my true passion, which is to give this information to you. My true purpose, which is to dispense this information to you. So if I'm sitting starving, I can't do it. I'm not. Starving doesn't motivate me. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel hungry, and then I get my ass to work. My ass works. And I try to teach my sons that how to work when you're not under pressure or under duress. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, when we upset about them doing shit, then all of a sudden they taking out the garbage and washing the dishes more often. You know what I'm saying? How do you get them to wash the dishes and take out the garbage and pick up a broom while y'all all smiling at each other? You understand what I'm saying? While y'all all having tickle fights, can they maintain the same ethic? You know what I'm saying? About their grind. And that's really what needs to be taught to us. We're trained not only as former slaves and black folk in America, just as American people to perform under pressure. Therefore, you lust for pressure. And therefore, when you relieve the pressure, because you were trained to perform under pressure, you actually magnetize more pressure because that's your home. So when you say I'm grinding, I'm out here trying to get money, that's why they call it nigger rich. Because when you do finally make a lump sum, you find that lump sum disappearing just as fast as you obtained it. Because, or even the slow path of you obtaining it, once you finally score, if you will, and come up on some money, you find yourself spending it just as quick as it came up. This is because you have programmed yourself through repetition of a poor lifestyle. I'm hustling, son. I'm a grinder, son. Got to get this money. Got to get this money. If you saying got to get this money, you programmed yourself to got to get this money. So when you have money, you haven't programmed yourself to have money. White people who are born into money, let's just say, have programmed themselves to have money. White people who were working their way up to having money, let's just say, they work up their way for like future generations, as opposed to, yeah, some of my hustle's all gravy, and they start flashing it. No, they're working their way up and they don't stop because they're looking at future generations, then they groom their kids. They say, your grandfather's the idea man. And he comes up with the good idea in the business. Then his son takes that and makes it an empire. And then his son blows all that fucking money. You understand what I'm saying? So Trump's grandfather was actually the real estate idea man. And he started in Queens. He was a part of Queensbridge Projects, the place I live, building. Trump's father. Then Trump, the son, is the one who turned that shit into an empire by taking his ass to Manhattan and building hotels. And then you see these goofy ass kids he got. They're the ones that's gonna blow it. So they usually say that's the order and how it goes. Black people don't have that order. If let's say we somehow we look at ourselves as if this is the line, we are somehow always trying to tap that line from underneath. We are not trying to be the line. No longer trying to be the standard in which other people, the model in which other people follows. We're trying to come off in between and score where we find holes and flaws in that line and call it a hustle, a grind. And that grind, if you program yourself for grinding, then what do you do when you get money? You got to get rid of it because you're a grinder. So you can't grind with money. You grind without money. You hustle when you don't have it. So you're proud to call yourself a hustler, a grinder, but you're actually programming yourself for constant failure. What is normal to you? It's normal to me. I can't remember myself without money. When I was a child under the protection of my parents who were poor. So in the beginning, I had my niggas selling drugs and grind. I just could never do it. I would lose crack. I didn't have the stomach to do it. I would come out, sell crack, and they'd be like, yo, the cops are out all day. I didn't even know what was happening. Get the fuck off the block. Oh, okay. It just wasn't good at selling crack. And some in me was like, this hustling, this grinding, and this mentality, it doesn't seem like a thing. And or a thing for me. And I always just had something and seen myself, especially in the later metaphysical aspects, as this line is my reality. Grinding and hustling is something I don't do. You know what I'm saying? In this stimulation, you can have whatever you want. You can choose whatever you want. You could choose to be a poor righteous teacher. Or you could choose to be someone who doesn't have to worry about material suffering and teach and have a passion for teaching that's greater than this material, what this material world has to offer. See, because you think you're not a materialist, but you are. Because you're addicted to your fucking spirulina. You're addicted to yoga. You're addicted to your breathing. You're addicted to, like, when you don't have no body, do you breathe? Do your spirit breathe? Your humanity needs to breathe. Of course. And, of course, we've made a science using these tools down here. But if the tools become some argument or some way, something that you can't get past, you need to be spiritual to do that. Or you need to close your eyes to be spiritual. And really, I don't even have to close my eyes to be spiritual anymore. But let's just say something. You should get to that point because you understand anything in humanity is a tool, including material possessions, is a tool. And if you can't use it as a tool and it becomes the definition of you, is the problem. So if you're sitting down going, I'm a comedic yogarist and you motherfuckers just don't understand and everybody else don't know, then you're addicted to that. Know what I'm saying? You're addicted to that argument, that point, that way of living. You know what I'm saying? I only do it with this essential oils and roses. Then you're addicted. That's material shit too. Your thoughts are material thoughts because your thoughts materialize. So you have to understand how to work in the world of the material. Not just say, this material shit ain't for me. But you're in the material world, motherfucker. Your body is material. And you have to work. So nothing wrong with comedic yoga, breathing, or none of that. As long as it's in the context of it being a tool. And even if you are a teacher and it's a lifestyle to teach that tool, let's not get carried away with that bullshit. No more than I get carried away with fucking the dark side, nigga. Come on, the dark side. Because my answer is you should be on the dark side. But you should understand what the dark side is. The dark side is just in your own fucking head. The dark side is that which is within. There's no spook, ghost, goblin, or Satan anywhere. The most funniest thing is worshiping Satan. Nigga, that's stupid. There's no such thing as Jesus. Then there's no such thing as Satan. These are polarities. So who the fuck would worship a polarity? Is fucking sick. You worshiping a magnet, you stupid motherfuckers. Dark side, nigga. Baphomet. Nigga, these are just symbols. Symbols to line up your subconscious mind to get into an energy frequency. You understand what I'm saying? Baphomet is an energy frequency. And all of that human definition of it is nothing more than that. Human definition of it. Human perspective. Human ideas that try to describe something that communicates through visualization. Period. The elements and the ideas, once you understand the substance in the symbol, the intention of the symbol, then you can use it for programming. And you will notice you holistically become more aware, holistically become more conscious, holistically become more woke. This happens because it is activating you. It's not a form of thinking and in the classic sense, as it's more a form of activating that which dwells within. Because I told you, we are all of one divine mind. So in its creation, in its purest form, exists inside of you as well, even though you weren't the one that necessarily created it. You have the ability to tap in once you first start with the divinity that exists within inside of you. Then you see the quantum all connected divinity that is all of one God mind, including white people. Remember, you made them. They're an aspect of you that is just the lower self. Even their existence here can only happen if you were in the middle of a fall. Their very existence proves that you have fell off. They could not exist in the frequency of this higher thought that you were in. So your thoughts had to even be lowered for them to even enter the simulation 2,000 years ago, whenever. To even enter this shit. You understand? Oh, there were light-skinned Atlanteans who were white. No. Not the deficient white people. Out of the black woman, any and all things come from her. So my sister, if you just looked at her arm, without looking at her, you say she's white. You know what I'm saying? But you will see that inner melanated glow in her too. You understand what I'm saying? You will see in her features, in her presence, that she is not a white woman. That's a black woman. In other words, we call them red bones. And you know them red bones got to glow. When they especially if they get that sun, they turn golden. So that's the whites of Atlantis they talk about. These people, no, they can't make it. They're not built for it. They're not built for the sun. You know what I'm saying? This is the time we were eating that light. And that baby sun was actually for your humanity. That's not the real sun we dealt with. We dealt with the hidden sun. And that hidden sun merges with that sun. It's a marriage. Amun-Ra. And Ra is actually for children. You know what I'm saying? Demiurge shit. And I think it's Signs and Symbols of the Primordial Man by Albert Church Ward or some shit like that. Signs and Symbols of the Primordial Man. He talks about the earlier Kamites and also the pre-dynastic Kamites and the earlier dynasties, I believe he says as well, worshipped the Sirius sun as the god that you worship is Ra. Now, when people got dumber and dumber, like I said, you got to understand this was a long fall to where we got. And even the things you seen as pristine was in decline. You understand? Was in decline at the time. So he said they used to worship the Sirius sun, and as people got dumber, they said, okay, the sun right here. Stuff that you could see and is tangible, because we could no longer do it. You know what I'm saying? Now, y'all need to understand in the ancient texts, because there's a lot of flat earthers and round earthers, which is another thing that when this information came out about flat earth, no one put any investigation to it. They started picking sides. And then the white man, the ones that rule you, gave you names again, like Democrat and Republican, flat earther, round earther. And now you're at it again, back in this lower nation. I'm trying to educate you on this shit that you keep falling into, not the middle point where you say, well, what's the agenda of a round earth? Well, it will give you hope that something could come down here and enlighten you, or you can eventually go somewhere else and be enlightened. If you can see in Newton Geb, there's a dome. I mean, there is so many ancient references to this. In the Book of the Dead, they talk about when the beloved soul, when he dies, is one of the, either the coffin text is one of those texts, or the pyramid text. It might be the pyramid text, which they say is the one you should really read because it stands out amongst all the different texts that came together as the Book of Coming Forth by Day, or the Book of the Dead. The pyramid text, I believe, is the one where they took, because all of these are instructions for the dead. That's what y'all should understand. The Kamites, when they did decide, and I believe Dr. Africa talked about, it was the 17th dynasty is when they started writing on everything, because they started to realize that we were getting dumber and dumber, and we may need to write this down now. Like, you wouldn't write down how to tie your shoes because it's just common sense, or how to put on your shirt. But if people were forgetting how to put on their shirt, you might want to leave an instruction manual because you see where this is going. So same thing, 17th dynasty. And what they decided to put was not an economic plan, not a dietary plan. Contrary to what we're doing, is not about yoga, even though you can make yoga out of it. And I think that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? But that's not this, you know what I mean? Would you just stop there? And they didn't leave an economic plan, like I said, how to do-si-do your partner. The most important thing they felt they should leave us, the most important instructions were how to die and not come back here. So you dishonor all of that comedic shit that you pretend to hold up by trying to sustain and make a better life here, when their intentions clearly was have a good death and never come back. So to have a good death, you must start killing the humanity in you. And that's all I've been talking about since I got here. That's all Bobby Hemming has been talking about since he's beginning in 1993. Slowly but surely, how to have a good death. To have a good death, you have a good death in this consciousness. I will have a good death. When I choose my time to be up here, when I leave in a good death based upon the light that I gain from this school or this experience, in this debauchery, in this dream, in this vomit, in this dome. So this middle point should lead you to investigation. And in the pyramid text, I believe it is, they talk about the beloved dead. When he dies, your spirit is supposed to attach itself to the jet streams. And if anybody knows, there are jet streams around this planet. There's one that goes from west to east. The Caribbean, there's jet streams underwater, and in the sky there's one that brings the hot air from the Caribbean to Europe, and Europe has the balance that it does based upon the hot air from the Caribbean through the jet stream. And note that jet stream is breaking down based upon global warming. Jet streams are breaking down because of global warming. So the jet stream, there's a jet stream that takes you to the north. In the book, it tells you that the magnetosphere is weakest at the North Pole. Ironically, in the flat Earth model, it talks about there's a hole in the North Pole. And of course, people still have this physical thing, which it still may be too, that if you made it to the true North Pole in the middle of a flat Earth, you will actually can go to this subterranean world. That's where Journey to the Center of the Earth, the book, and even the one that Rock did, they implied that Jules Verne, I think, was it Jules Verne who wrote that? Who the fuck cares? Who wrote Journey to the Center of the Earth, actually went to the center of the Earth and found a whole different world. And then there's this the time machine, where he goes back or goes forward in time, and then these people in the center of the Earth have emerged to eat the people on Earth who were original people. Now, the idea is, and then that's where you'll find Shambhala, this magical world. Now, here's what is real that you can measure. The greenhouse effect. Not greenhouse effect. Why am I talking about that? The aurora borealis. If you see it, there's these green lights in the sky that's making this, and they tell you it's the sun hitting the atmosphere at a certain point, and it's making these reflections. But the true thing is, they say, and this happens at the North Pole, the true thing that's happening is there's a light or a sun in the earth that's hidden, that's actually shooting out light that meets the sun that we see in the sky. And it's green because this is code for Osiris or Amun-Ra, the hidden sun, the true hidden sun in the earth, in the physical, and it's green like the green Osiris. You understand what I'm saying? Now that shit's real. So when you hear the flat earth model, can it add up or line up with the ancient teachings is what you need to say. So when new things were introduced or brought on the table, what Bobby Hemmitt would do is say, can you find it in the ancient teachings? Can you find it in the ancient teachings? Because that will be the standard in which you look, instead of having an argument. I'm a round earth, I'm a flat earther. You only know the earth is round from what you've been told. Now, Eric Dubay, who's the one who reintroduced, I'm not going to say introduced, reintroduced this and made it a hot subject again, because there's metaphysical teachers who taught this too. Delbert Blair taught this, that there was a world in the center of the earth, and with life and cities and advanced this, that, the other, and blah blah blah. Now, so he reintroduced this with a book, 200 proofs the earth is flat, and how to prove it, and so on and so forth. So y'all could do what you do and do your own experiments to see that. But the truth, what I am is a get the fuck off of earther. So I'll smack you in the face, symbolically, for calling me a round earther or a flat earther. I don't give a fuck, you in prison, dude. You know what I'm saying? So what did you prove if you had a whole debate about the earth is flat or the earth is round? What did you prove? Right. Nothing. Nothing. It's an ego stimulation thing, and it's you're the fool for picking any side. The middle point is you deal with science, because at the end of the day, it's about, as the Kamites so left us on the wall, getting the fuck off and not coming back. Ironically, they say a lot of things that line up with the flat earth model. The Coptic Egyptians, which are later day Egyptians, who said, we ain't got no time for the temples and the initiations, we just gonna give it to you straight. Their shit lines up with a flat earth understanding in terms of it being a prison, or you in a habitat. You know what I'm saying? They called it the fishbowl. And ironically, they say around this dome, there's water underneath and around this dome. And there was this original tree in the middle of this North Pole that connected. They called that the Meru pillar in Samaria, I believe, or the backbone of Osiris. All of these things start to line up as that this shit makes sense. In the Norse mythology, they talk about the 9 worlds, and it's all united by this one tree that sits in the middle. Now, they said this tree has been cut down, or it's gone, or whatever. I mean, there's so much more to it besides just trying to pick a side. So then you would say, well, why would, because my first question, because you question this in your own mind. You don't pick flat earth sides and left and go with what they question and what they say as how you should question. What questions would come to your mind if someone says, well, why would they hide it to us? That's what would come to my mind. Why would they hide? Why would they say it's round if it's not? I said, well, if they're truly pushing an agenda of evolution, then it sounds like they couldn't tell you that you were encased in anything. Because if they tell you you're encased in something, you first would say, well, who put me here? Did I choose to come here? It brings so many other questions. Then if you say, well, there must be a God, then you say, well, then why did God put me in a prison? He could have put me anywhere, but why did he put me in what amounts to a prison that he won't let me get out of? And because if it's encased in a ring circle of ice and enclosed in a circle of firmament, why would he need to do that? What's on the other side of that? It brings so many different questions. They say an ape who knew he was, or an elephant or a tiger who knew he was in a zoo, in a cage, was no longer an elephant or a tiger. There's nothing like seeing a tiger in a cage or a lion in a cage. It's an oxymoron. So what they started doing to pretend they were more moral, instead of leaving them the fuck alone, was making these habitats. You know what I'm saying? And trying to say, well, we're saving all these apes from extinction. Meanwhile, they're the ones who did the extinction. That's like me saying, or someone being a rapist, saying, I created a safe haven now for this rapee, but you're the rapist. So the same rapist is creating these habitats, and they say the ape or the elephant will have come to the edge of that and realize they're still trapped in this edge, but then look behind them and see so much more habitat that they soon forget that they're in a prison. So the Kamites taught that we were in a prison. The ancients, all ancient mythology tell you you're in a prison. Earth is a prison. The body is a prison. They're telling you that. They're just not saying flat earth. But they're showing you that, where you're at. Because this was some of the most advanced teaching, and you could see how motherfuckers is going against it. Somebody introduce it. Motherfuckers are passionate about this shit is round. And they're using no more science to prove it's round than that which was given to them in public school. And then they'll turn around in another video and tell you how public school is mind control. Public school is designed for mind control. And then next have a whole argument that the earth is flat. Then use all the examples that the same enemy or the raper uses. I'm baffled by that. Show me something in the ancient text. I mean, showing you a round sphere, and I know the Sumerians had round spheres and all the rest of that. I say it goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? I say we could show both to make a point. But the ultimate point always was the how to get the fuck off. In a flat earth model, they're telling you to, when you die, go to the center of it and bounce and leave. These spheres are maybe just how you see things. We truthfully don't know how to decode any of that shit. I don't want to say any of it. A lot of that shit, because we don't know the mentality. For instance, if How would you explain Run DMC if they were left on walls, someone describing them in short pictures thousands and thousands of years later? You wouldn't even get it. You understand what I'm saying? Because it would be out of context for you. We're trying to put it in a context we understand. Most of the information came from Zachariah Stitchin and what he said about what Samaria is. But then you could go into the ancient world and see these models. The deeper models or the deeper understanding was always deeper, because this is a very painful understanding. What if you found out you were in a fucking prison? Listen, just to say, I need you to understand this, just to say, in the mentality of the Camite, to have a good death and never come back is a nice way of saying you in a fucked up position right now. That's why you should never come back. But most people can't take that. Most people can't take that at all. You know what I'm saying? They can't take it right now. If I said your human body is a curse, not a blessing. Most conscious niggas can't take that shit. But I'm eating all my vegetables and my spirulina and I'm doing my yoga. I'm breathing. What's wrong with you, Panic? Why are you so mad? But if you study the science and the common sense, all this shit is talking about leaving and not getting back. When you study Gnosticism, they give it to you raw dog, no condom. And I could see where this was some of the most advanced understanding, because it would hurt to find this out the gate. Life would be worthless. If I told all of this to my son right now, humanity is a falsehood, it's a flaw, you need to look for a good death, or just all the shit we be saying, and so fucking depressed. When they thought that, when they found out the world was supposed to end in 2012, them young niggas, they was moping around. Because they feel, and they should, they have all this human life in front of them. And then if they're conscious or become conscious, then they should understand the real. So it would be taught in layers, because it would be taught on the level of more and more that you could release. The more you could release your humanity, the more you were ready for a greater understanding of what humanity really is. So why would they tell us there's a round earth? Because for no other reason, it puts you in the mindset that you are evolving humans. It's a pro-human understanding. It makes you say, as this world is spinning, that there's, as opposed to knowing you're encased in a prison. If you throw that away, it seems the potential of man expanding in this unending universe and becoming something greater all sits in as the world spins. They'll give you Neil deGrasse Tyson and specifically make him a black man, because now it shows how black, same Obama concept, now a black man could become one of the leading minds on the planet. Evolution, baby. We evolved. Look at what the slave has become. You understand what I'm saying? And all the while not showing you that not only are we the mothers and fathers of all things in existence, including this ignorance, that we start from this ignorance and become a Neil deGrasse Tyson, this intelligent, knowing, articulate Negro that's got his finger. Yo, these niggas feel so proud watching that fucking government Masonic agent do his work. So to sell you on this is to sell you, and to sell you on aliens that came here and built pyramids before, tells you that they could come back. So if the aliens built pyramids and came to Earth before and seeded humanity with this little DNA. They want to wait till humanity. This is what they're telling you. They want to wait till humanity gets to a certain level before they come back. That tells you to work diligently with your iPhones and your watches that fucking light up and connect to your computer like fucking Dick Tracy. You know what I'm saying? That you're moving somewhere, and when you eventually get to this place, the aliens will come back. But how could they come back if you're encased in a flat earth dome? How could they come back? So they couldn't. In fact, they couldn't even exist. But so there's a lot of money. See, how do you, it's for them to control the flow of information. It's the flow of information that they need to control. The flow is, if you understood that you are the pyramid builders, this totally deconstructs the simulation motif that they have today, the pattern that they have today, the order, the social order. If you understand that you're the pyramid builders and the father of all civilizations, the mother of all civilizations here that are ancient and not understood even by us, the builders. That's how far asleep we are. We don't even remember how we did this shit. That's how old we are. We forgot how the fuck we did it. And there's, so if we find out that the model, why would you, it would make me question everything. Why are you my manager on this job? Why am I paying fucking mortgage to you, my nigga? Gas bill? Why are we invested in that? This whole shit would stop if you found out truly that you are the pyramid builder. You understand? That you are the master of all things in every corner of the world is your birthright as a human. Everything in existence comes from your mind, including that entity that you following around here. So it's in their interest to make you think that aliens are here and the earth cannot be flat. And they see, just think about that alone. How much they invested in fucking 4, 5, 6 seasons of Aliens. What's that shit called on Sci-Fi with that nigga with the crazy hair? Ancient Aliens. You understand? Anything to say it's not a nigga. How much they invested in that? If the earth was flat with a dome on it, can't be true, right? So this propaganda show comes into question. They have to validate it. So then they have to say, okay, we need to create an argument. Call them round earthers, call them flat earthers. And then when they start arguing on YouTube, it distracts from the real question of why. The why. Why would they say the earth was round if it was flat? Or what interest would someone have in saying it's flat? Like, what's the agenda? So after we say it's flat and you're in the dome, what do you gain? What financial benefits can be gained? Nothing. It's actually more depressing. And it puts in line a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? About your body. There's only one way out of here, through death. And that's how you get to the North Pole, where you meet Ra in this sunboat, where the magnetosphere, or the web of Isis, they say, which sits over the earth, can be penetrated through the north. This is in the ancient text. And it sounds exactly what they're saying in the flat earth model. There's a dome, web of Isis, that is weak in the North Pole. And here's where you meet Ra in the sunboat. To sail through the sun, which is a black hole or gateway, home. Come on, niggas. Like, you ain't got to convince me. So, like I said, I'll be more upset if you put me in that argument. I'm a middle point nigga. And as much as you can find about the round earth, that shit is actually coming up short. It's just coming up with people holding on to their training or have to justify some shit they said. You know what I'm saying? A nigga came down here on a sham or a meteorite. Y'all can't say the fucking earth is flat and in a dome, because it totally goes against what you've already believed. So you can't, that's why you must be in the middle point to be able to evaluate these things and not get caught up in your belief. You should believe in what you know. And you should be always willing to know or learn something greater. You understand? So that requires you not pick a side. So I wouldn't be a Democrat or a fucking Republican or a round earther or a fucking flat earther. I just want to deal with information, see where it lines up. Because in the end of the day, the true agenda is to get the fuck out of here all together. You know what I'm saying? And the only way out of this motherfucker is through your own head. You know what I'm saying? Through light. When you die, that junk DNA comes online. You're not going to turn into the fucking X-Men down here. And if you did, or can, or do, and you're able to walk through walls, you're going to walk through walls that you still have to pay a white man rent on. That you still have to pay somebody, even niggas, rent on. You know what I'm saying? Because before we bought our house, we rented it from black folk. So you're still going to have to pay rent to somebody for the walls you can walk through. You know what I'm saying? So, the object and the idea has always been transcending this reality through consciousness. And that's going to happen through death. That's when your junk DNA comes online and merges and is able to clone itself with the new information or the new light by way of phosphorus with that junk DNA. And that's when you have the ability to transform and get out. If you didn't do the right thing, if you humanized your whole experience instead of understanding humanity to transcend it. You know what I'm saying? The true understanding of humanity is to master and wield it. That means you must study those who are still in it. So that's why I can watch all these debates, loving hip hop, because I study those who are still in it. To put in context how I transcended it. And not to mention, I'll be honest, I get a cheap, lower thrill. As long as it ain't me. And as long as it doesn't matter, fuck with my study, we can do that bullshit all day. You know what I'm saying? All day. Because I can't be programmed by it, because my subconscious mind is only programmed that which my conscious mind is unaware to block. So I know it's bullshit and I know it's mind control. Therefore, it can't control my mind. And that's really why we discuss and decode these things. Because once you decode it and it's in the open or it's in the light, it can no longer program you. For the most part, I'm not going to say. Because, there may be always an exception in some sort of shit. But the idea is the darkness or the dark side is that which is hidden or dwells within you. And the journey into the dark side is a journey within. We go to every fucking place in the world to look at shit and believe we had an experience. You had a fucking experience, all right, but it was a human tourist experience. The true transformation or the true path or the journey is that which is within. In the darkness, nigga, darkness. You must stay. You must go within. You must go within. Once you go within, that's when the party starts. And that's when you are actually going within that divine great mind to fish out your answers. Your subconscious mind gives you the answer in the form of symbols every night. It's called a dream. You just no longer speak the language, my nigga. And that's really what it is. That's really what it comes down to. You no longer speak the language. So once you get into this language again, it becomes easy peasy. You can get answers to anything you want. You know what I'm saying? You can do whatever you want to do. And believe you me, I'm a testimonial to it. I'm not just talking like in theory. You understand? See, a lot of these niggas are theorizing based upon ancient information. No, I'm talking about activating that shit right now, dude. And test me on it. Test me on my shit is activated. You know what I'm saying? I'll wipe a nigga clean, you know what I'm saying, before he even knows what happened, without even leaving the comfort of my motherfucking couch. And we ain't talking about YouTube debates, nigga. And that's real. But here's the good news. If it's in you, then you could do it too. If that's what you came to do, you could do it too. There's nothing in me that ain't in you. And that's real. If it was, why the fuck would I waste my time trying to explain anything to anybody? I'd just be the guru of it all. So, but I know better. You know what I'm saying? I know better. I will never walk up a mountain to ask a motherfucker that which I know is in me. Oh, guru, you grant me 3 questions. What a nice motherfucker. Why is water wet? That which is water is wet because water is hydration, my son. And you walk down that hill. I don't know what the fuck that meant, but it was fucking humanity. My cousin said that shit. I can't even remember the lines. My grandfather was dying. You know, he went in to see him. And, you know, he said, you know, that which is will always be. And that which will be may never be the is. Is. Always is. 10 years later, my cousin said he was still trying to figure that shit out. I said, what? I'd have told that motherfucker, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Say that shit another way. He started laughing because he realized how common sense that was. But since we're looking for something deep and bedazzling based upon our public school education, since we look for something deep and bedazzling based upon our public school education, we're looking to think our way out of it instead of just knowing. You know what I'm saying? Understanding that asking my grandfather to explain himself like I'm a 3-year-old is not taken away from the experience. To get to the point where we are in that situation, for him to ask for the action, for my cousin to ask for the actual explanation, is the spiritual experience. So you don't have to walk away like it's deep and you're supposed to then go somewhere deep. Because of prior questioning, because of a prior cause, sitting there with my grandfather is the effect, is the light that he's looking for. So my grandfather dishes out a healthy serving of darkness. It is that will always will be. He needs to fucking be aggressive with his light seeking and say, explain that shit, nigga. Y'all need to do that shit with all these deep ass nowhere niggas. What the fuck do you mean? Know what I'm saying? That which reverberates comes back to bounce off the magnetosphere. One of them niggas was hitting me with that shit on the phone. I said, yo, motherfucker, don't do that to me. What the fuck are you talking about? Speak regular, nigga. I heard you speak regular. I seen you get arrested on 125th Street, nigga. And you was talking regular. You wasn't saying that which cuffs me and reverberates that on the magnetosphere, the bionics that handcuff thou wishes, that speaks within. Someone pay my bail. Wasn't saying that like, what the fuck I do? What the fuck I do? I ain't doing nothing. You motherfuckers is racist. That's what I heard. Know what I'm saying? You need to talk like that to me. Make it plain. Just because the Kamites were deep to you, they were speaking plain to each other. That's how niggas do. And these were niggas. Ain't no nigga was speaking and y'all trying to imitate something that off of a public school model. That intellect and intellectual speaking using big words is somehow makes you smarter. What in the fuck? That's children shit. They tell you that in regular shit. Oh, he's trying to use big words to come off as he's intelligent. He's hiding in the fact that he doesn't know. Those who know, talk regular. Make it plain. Speak direct. Because know why? That just their explanation of it in everyday terms is testimonial to their knowing of what it is they're trying to dispense to you. The person who doesn't know is going to bog you down and hide you in big words. So you could sit there and feel stupid in your mind, but too embarrassed to say, hey, what the fuck did that mean? Could you go back? Say it in regular stuff. Because at the end of the day, why are you saying big words? Why? 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 Who are you trying to impress? Who are you trying to convince of anything? Especially when you understand metaphysically, the only thing that can convince an individual is that individual. So to manipulate that individual as if the grass is greener on the other side based upon your verbiage, based upon that, the way you speak is a hustle, is a con. Those who know point you to not only what they know, where they got it from. So when you go to that source, you could come up with your own shit. Understanding that it may be a whole 180 degrees from my shit. And it's still valid. We were more complex than one side or the other. That is white people shit. Pick a side. They are war mongers. War beast. It has to be black or white. My way or the highway. Democrat, Republican. Arguments, debates. Flat earth, round earth. It has to be. Otherwise, it doesn't work in their system. It doesn't work in their system. You following me? It does not work in their system if there's not opposition. They need two opposing sides, and you folly-filled Negroes are falling for this. It's time to stop picking sides, pick a middle point, and become that middle point, and choose your own interpretation, not in the form of an argument, but in the form of an understanding within. The understanding that's within, that you do not need to argue with. You can build with your understanding, not destroy with it. No matter how much you stop in the middle of the debate, go, but I still love you because you my brother. You my brother and we brothers. But you're wrong on that, brother. Fucking clown shit is that. Silly ass way of justifying just total destruction of each just total egotistical masturbation. Egotistical nut jerking. Flat earth. Round earth. There's a bunch of nut on the floor. And nut on the floor don't make babies. You understand? You feel good because you bust that nut. But after that little moment of feeling good, you're on to the next fucking argument. Ain't you? Ain't you? Ain't you? Little silly ass. Goddamn. What a way of thinking. What a way of thinking. I mean, what a way of thinking. We need to grow up a little bit. Just grow up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? No one's being changed their mind. They'll say in these arguments online, we need my people to come in. Oh, your people are here, but we need more of my people to come in. Well, my people are saying that and your people are saying that. That alone is a testimony to we're not teaching anything. We're just saying we got fans of the Dolphins, fans of the Jets. And we're about to have a football game here. Or a basketball game. That's all. Same war mentality. Same opposition. They would say you're a good sport because these sporting events was Nothing but fun competition. And then we will all shake hands and hug. They teach you walk down the line and you shake all the opposite players' hands. That's what makes you a good sport. War is a different thing. You see cats at war over nothing, fighting these battles over mindless shit that ain't gonna save you either way. No matter what shape this motherfucker, this oblong pear-shaped shit that they saying now, doesn't matter. You still stuck here, dog. You still paying your mortgage, dog. Your rent, dog. If they decide to violate you, decide to arrest you, what you gonna do? Say Hotep? You ain't gonna Hotep your way out of this, nigga. That's real. That's real. All my energy is going on how to fucking get out and never come back. The good news is, for me, I already know how to do this. I already knew how to do this. And I would find consciousness if I came down here to do it again. And in fact, to take even one deeper, I'm not even here. C. Freeman L. told me this. He said, no, this is an avatar. Your soul isn't here on earth. It's reflecting through this avatar y'all call panic to teach. That's why I start off like this video and many others, having an idea what I want to say, but then 2 hours and 15 minutes later, we still going. I'm going to stop it short soon because I'm trying to give you, this is a taste for me. You understand? A taste, because I'm reflecting through this avatar. Every lecture I've done, unless I'm reading out of a book, and even reading out of a book, you see me going rants and tangents that last sometimes 15 to 20 minutes a pop. I don't even take notes anymore. I used to take notes and so I can remember the points I was going to make. I don't even do that anymore because this is being reflected from another place, and it's me. This is the true meaning of higher self. But a lot of people don't have a true higher self. Their higher self, we do, because your melanin is considered your higher self, your Ka, your doppelganger or your spirit guardian. White people with no melanin, it would be another entity that would be their spirit guardian. Sometimes they're dead, who were a little bit advanced, had some melanin in them through secondhand hand-me-down melanin through getting fucked or having a baby with a Negro in your bloodline family. That hand-me-down melanin may allow them to be able to be protected in a certain sort of way. And there's an energy that created this place, this Yaldabaoth energy, that you can go further in Gnosticism, the study of Gnosticism, to kind of get a clearer understanding of that if you don't know, that fights for humanity to be human, because that's how they feed. They revealed that in the Clash of the Titan movies, that humans praying to the gods is what strengthens them. And the fact that humans stop praying to the gods, they're dead. They also brought that up in American Gods, where the new gods were rising. The new gods were television, the internet, and one other, not gaming, phones or something like that. They were the new gods, and they were trying to eradicate the old gods. And in fact, the last 2 shows are the greatest on that, because they went to see the god Esther, and she was still reveling in her goddesshood. But Odin, who was revealed in the last show, which should have been obvious, they brought Odin to the West, and now that I'm watching, they dropped so much Odin shit. His name was Wednesday. That's Odin's day, I believe. Yeah, that's Jupiter, Odin, Zeus. You know what I mean? So they're gonna like him there. So his name was Wednesday. Like, I didn't even have my thinking cap on, and they revealed him to be Odin, and he's telling the goddess Esther, who's now sharing with Easter and Jesus. And Jesus is at this party she's throwing, and she's happy and still reveling. He's like, but they're not really worshiping you. They're worshiping Jesus. But she said, but I'm still getting my days in. I'm still eating. So they had to turn her in this war again against the new gods. Beautiful shit. But the point is more beautiful, that the new gods are these synthetic gods that these white people are trying to create. Marvel heroes. And certain white people know this. That's why they was mad that the Black Panther was black. They was mad that Hemingway, there was under protest, especially in Norse mythology, was a black man, Idris Elba, as the all-seeing eye. He was the pioneer over the Rainbow Bridge. I mean, you know, the Bifrost that takes you to all the worlds. They show you the all-seeing eye sees all the worlds because that. Remember, I just told you that the pineal gland is viewing the universe in your own head and is projecting this cosmic hologram from your head. Pineal or Hemingway was that all-seeing eye. And he's viewing the universe and can see all things because he's seeing it from the true projection standpoint, the true point of where the universe really exists here. Doesn't exist out there. So to tell you what you believe in this hologram, to look at the universe. So you said, well, the Camites look at the universe and the Zodiac and they did this and they did that because they was looking at their own fucking head. They was looking at it in a different context than you, celebrating it. They were decoding the Zodiac, not celebrating it. You niggas are celebrating, oh, you know, I can't get it. Mercury's in conjunct, so we better stay upstairs. They wasn't scared of that. They just understood how it worked. So they worked in between that. Venus is in conjunct and a parallel to Pluto. So that means you're supposed to act like that, nigga. Your humanity will. That's why Jesus is the 13th point of his disciples or his disciplines. So you discipline these humanities. That's why there's a higher aspect to Taurus and there's a lower aspect to this stubborn bull, which I am. So the humanity becomes this animal, this bull. The God aspect becomes these favorable attributes of your sign. So when is it real? It's not like the Zodiac's not real. It's real. But the context in which we understand it has been, we celebrate this shit. They weren't celebrating it. They were decoding it, my niggas. They were revealing this to understand what was in your head. And how to get back out of this hologram and back to the world of the real, which is here. Y'all, what? I mean, to me, this is common sense. And I used to have these conversations with Bobby. What the fuck? This is ABC. When I read it, shit rang true and da 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 da. And what he would say would be, that's because this is not new to you. So what's easy to you, because you've been through it before. A lot of these people haven't been through it. And therefore, to them, this is new. And therefore, complicated. Very complicated for them to get. And of course, they're fighting their human training. And, you know, I didn't really get that until later. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's totally like that. Especially when I was able to judge people's consciousness in moments. And it's not the shit that they saying out their mouth. I was able to read the symbols, the spirit on them. You know what I mean? And it's not really that deep. It's a greater perception of what you already have. You could meet a person and go, I don't like that nigga. You're like, you meet a person in 3 minutes, you're like, I really like that nigga. You know, that nigga right there. What is that? If you harness and understand that intuition or that perception, it could expand into more deeper detail. And if you understand how to speak to the symbols that your subconscious mind tells you, then you understand a language that's greater. You're just understanding the impression, the base form in the form of intuition. The more you put in, the more you will get out. You know what I'm saying? You'll learn more than saying, if you move to Spain or to Puerto Rico, you will know more than como está usted, el baño. You will, just by living there, you will start to learn the language more and more, as first out of necessity, then out of just routine programming, living. So this means if you put your effort into the spiritual understanding of your ancient thought, your ancient language, your ancient way of being, understanding your childhood is the key, because you were in these tools before you were trained as a human to get out of them. So you have to be childlike in your thoughts, not childish. Childlike, and then you'll understand a lot of the thought patterns and ways of being that you were are actually the key ways of being to get out. You know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas need to become Benjamin Buttons. Revert back, you know what I'm saying, to your youth. Slowly but surely. You understand? Fearless. We look at the shit in our neighborhood that we used to climb and play. Man, nigga, we used to climb the 59th Street Bridge, my nigga. And the drop is deadly. Not over the water part, which would still be deadly. I remember we used to climb over the Roosevelt Island Bridge and just fucking hold on. My sister and would be yelling, no, stop. We would just be letting go, like holding on, letting go, one hand, switching it before we fell. You know what I'm saying? And we're dropping back as we're doing it. And our sisters was going ham. God, man, get off, Larry. And I'm like, well, would I do that? Fuck out of here. And would I see my kids do it? I would be, no! Now. But we were fearless, even though that's stupid. But the context of fearlessness in terms of what it means spiritually, what it means in the form of being, the form of the mentality of thinking, is what you're trying to accomplish again. You get what I'm saying? Is what you're trying to is what you're trying to become again, actually. You know, so you can only enter heaven as a child. It's not childish, it's childlike in your thinking. So, all day when the cameras is off, all I do is sing and play, laugh and giggle. We got this. I have nothing to be stressful about this white man, about the condition of black people. We as the people, we don't need to do none of that shit. We good. The only thing you need to do as an individual is expand your consciousness. Otherwise, you come back to either this or something like this, and it's on you. And coming back enough is how you get conscious. You get tired of suffering in some sort of way through a material existence, because it's got to go. And the fear of the unknown, or what has become unknown to you, is what drives your whole entire life. Everything you're doing, down to the underwear that I choose to wear, is about surviving in life. Boxers, not briefs. Boxers, not briefs. It's about surviving. I can't wear fucking them panty drawers. And no one would ever see them, but I would know I had the motherfuckers on. That's not conducive to my survival. You know what I'm saying? So even down to that, everything you do is about survival. It's about trying to exist in a certain way that you have learned or chosen or been forced to become comfortable with through mind control and fear. And most of that is driven because you don't understand death. That's why the Kamites taught about nothing but death. Because once you understand death, life becomes easy. It's a cinch. So I understand death. Life for me is easy. It's a cinch. The only thing you work on now is just making sure if anything did happen, financially, socially, physically, that your people are taken care of. Other than that, the fear to go, not even a thing. They're not trying to die necessarily. That means I don't recklessly walk in front of cars. You know what I'm saying? Because even worse than that is surviving that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But you're not trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, just this fear of what can happen. Nigga, you ain't got no central nervous system no more. How could you feel pain? Pain is a detection system for the body. Without a body, how could you feel it? What you would feel is your ignorance and your mind producing what you remembered to be pain when you had a human body. Only because of your ignorance that you do so. And that would be what the basis of what hell would be. You taking once you die, make the transition and have no body, the belief that you are still stuck in the rules of a body based upon your ignorance. And believing you're stuck in the rules of a body, you're still able to produce pain with your own mind as you remember it from your body, including burning in hell forever, which would be a fear deterrent to get you to do whatever the fuck the powers that rule you choose. You got grown people who believe this shit. And look at you so matter-of-factly when you go, man, get the fuck out of here. You don't believe in the Bible? I'm like, why do I have to believe in anything? I believe in what I know. I believe in what I know. I don't have to believe in anything. I know where the Bible comes from. I know that it's a plagiarized book. And I know what anything that comes across my table, I could metaphysically decode it. And it can be decoded in many ways. Because they're talking about symbols, and that's what symbols are for. That's why one man can read a Bible and tell you slavery is good. Then the next man reads the Bible and tells you God wants you to be rich. Because the symbols do tell 1,000 words, but the real symbology of it is the prosperity is not on earth. Light is the true prosperity. So you have to ask yourself when you're watching arguments online, are you finding light or are you wasting your time? Not only do I know it's a grand waste of time, when I watch it, I actually study how bad this shit could get. And I can find and talk to you now based upon me watching that. If I didn't watch that, I wouldn't be able to talk to you about it. And see actually truly how this shit is actually working against you. There is entities that do work against you because there's entities that were created just from your thoughts that now exist based upon human thought. And without humans, they can't exist. So it's in their interest to force humanity to do human shit. Oh, see, y'all ain't even in the war. Y'all think it's a white man. No, there are entities that help to bring forth white men so you can occupy your time arguing about them. No, you're going to have to think a little bit higher. Push it up, son. There are entities that you have created called depression, clumsiness, jealousy, self-hate, low self-esteem that exist in the universe just like the made-up Jesus does exist. Because that's what thought forms are. Energy, thoughts, and energy classified into a deity, deified. Your thoughts deified. Depression is deified. Shit, it has drugs, counseling. It has symptoms, behaviors. It has sacrifices. People have killed themselves because they're too depressed. Oh, it's an entity, my nigga. So it's in depression's because without a human body or humans, period, who would be depressed? Only those who are ignorant. We're talking about a world-class event where there is no more humanity. There is no more human thought. It's eradicated and done with. Depression doesn't exist. So depression has to fight for its existence, which means it has to be in favor of anything that keeps you human. Anything. Debating is an entity now. Debating has always been an entity called arguments. So that entity is getting this sacrifice right now because it's become a fad or it's become hot to argue or debate. Y'all need to understand there's a bigger game happening here. A bigger game happening here. A bigger game happening here. It ain't about the dudes who are doing it. And this is by no means an attack on the dudes who are doing it. My attack has been, always will be, on human behavior. And you explain to me how arguing with each other is not human behavior. Somebody explain that shit to me. Me and Khadijah will have arguments. It's necessary because we have a social human lifestyle together. But you think I see random bitches in the street strike up arguments? Because we don't have a human life together, and I don't give a fuck about what they're doing, how they're doing it, in the wrong or right way they're doing it. Ultimately, their suffering means a round trip back. And I'm not super save a nigga. I'm super save yourself, motherfucker. I'm teaching you the tools to save yourself. You have to get with you need to have a by yourself meeting. You set up a table and you set up a PowerPoint for your fucking self. This is what I've seen, this is what I know, and this is what I question in my own head. And I'm going to run these questions until I come to this common denominator where I can walk around in the know about what has been put before me in terms of questioning. So every question I have, I run it through every goddamn grinder I can. And sometimes play it off for other people who may have run it through a grinder or have experience that I don't have. That's called building. Building. So y'all niggas need to understand the difference between building and destroying, quite simply. The white man has totally got you niggas. Because you're doing his style of work. You fighting his fight. And they'll tell any boxer, do not fight the other man's fight. You got to fight your fight. You are the Lord of all things, not just Africa. When you say you just from Africa, you fighting his fight. I'm so proud of Africa. What the fuck is that? What in the fuck is that? Nigga, we was here in America. That's America's ours. Canada's ours. This entire globe, flat or round, is ours. And we have to take responsibility for this mess. And you step up and you fix this problem that you created called planet Earth with your consciousness and your light. You don't add to it by arguing, debating, opposition, and fighting with this bullshit theory of we need to clean our own house first. It don't matter. That was what consciousness was. Everybody from all walks of whatever, the only requirement was that you were finished with the group, the teaching, or the religious training, and you brought the best of what you had. And all of it was valid. All of it made sense. You took what you needed and you left alone what you did. So if Brother Bobby said something you didn't like, you didn't argue it and debate it, put comments on YouTube, you fucking waste of time ass nigga. Patty, why you don't have comments? Because you niggas are dumb as a motherfucker, and I don't want to hear what you have to say, good or bad. I don't want nobody rubbing my dick neither. Oh, Patty, oh my goodness. No, I appreciate the comments. That changed my life. Something you said made me do this good. Makes me know I'm on the right track. I respectfully accept that, and I respectfully give you my honor for doing the work. But no, I don't want to hear no dick rubbing and head shining. Or as much as I want to hear no, that motherfucker this, and just a display of ignorance that think I'm going to answer you. I don't go to your page and write how stupid your grandmama and them look sitting up in church on Easter Sunday. When you put that on Facebook, I don't say that. Look at this dumb bitch, because that's the only picture you got of your grandmother wearing her church hat. You know, wow, your grandmother in that church hat looked fucking like, you know what I'm saying, like somebody fucking beat her in the face with a goddamn fucking truck wheel. I don't say that shit. because it's out of order. See, they're anonymous behind their computer, so they're punk motherfuckers who do all of that. Because real niggas who say real things and do real things, they do it. Why the fuck would you be on YouTube? I don't like what you said, motherfucker. I agree with all of that, but I don't agree. Man, this is ego shit. Who gives a fuck what you agree with? Just don't listen to it. It's all free anyway. It's all free on YouTube anyway. It's fucking pathetic. You know what I'm saying? It's a pathetic way of being and a pathetic way of life. And I turn my comments off because I don't want to indulge in even the stupidity of what anybody who feels they even need to respond would fucking say. If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. If I was to respond, I'd be like, my responses on anything, oh, thanks for that. Oh, wow. Because thanks for the information. I don't need to say you're a great groovy dude and you've always been there for the people. Panic and in Panic, you're so special. Motherfucker, the only person I need to say that is Khadijah. And she smiles every time I come in the room. And I have the same dumbass smile every time she walks in as well. And that's the only one I'm trying to convince that I'm a good guy, I'm a smart guy, I'm a dedicated guy, I'm a consistent guy, I keep my word. I don't give a fuck what y'all think. I don't give a fuck what y'all think. If you got something that's touching, I dig the feedback, but tell me personally. People email me the feedback. My answer is, it was my honor to serve you. So you understand that you're a God. And I'm serving you as well. We serving each other. I'm not better than you. By no means. So I'm not going to sit here and pontificate and enunciate words that make me seem as if I'm better than you. Put up shit on the board and say shit that's repeated based upon you just researching YouTube, copying shit to make me sound smarter than you. Tell me where you got it from. Give me the bibliography. Shit you heard is coming out of my head. It's a collaboration of much understanding, much reading, much spiritual work, much meditation to come up with a conclusion that maybe you accept and maybe you don't. And that should always be in your mind. Don't accept everything I say. Challenge it. That's why we used to say check. I'm bringing check back. Because it was like, whatever I say, you should be able to check it for yourself. Instead of sitting there saying, hallelujah, Hotep. Hotepalooyah. That's the new one. Hotepalooyah. Hotepalooyah. I was the first one to clown Hotep. Now everybody's like, oh, these Hotepers. Man, I've been talking about that shit. Because it's always been. You just catching up with this shit now. It's always been a stupid way of trying to prove that you're better or in something than an average human. But you're an average human with a new vocabulary. Hotepalooyah. What time is it? I'm going to get the fuck up out of here so I can make this quick. Remember, let me get this information out. Again, June 3rd, baby. I'm going to go deeper into this simulation. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be the gathering of the metaphysical masters. A seer, the Duke of Tears, myself, and Dr. Phil Valentine, one of the Grand Master Elders. He said, it's weird, or, to be called an elder, or, it's kind of weird that they're the elders now. But shit, especially now, and I think it was maybe 5-6 years ago, maybe even 8 years ago when he said that. Now, guaranteed, because the shit that's happening now, even Negroes who was on the path to something have just went for YouTube hits. YouTube hits. So it is definitely in order to call Dr. Phil Valentine a Grand Master at this point. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be at St. Francis College, 180 Remsen Street. Remson Street. 180 Remsen Street. This is in Brooklyn, New York, 11201. June 3rd, baby. June 3rd, 2 p.m. sharp to 9 p.m. at night. Whoa. There's going to be a question and answer period too, I'm told. Brother Rich, this is a Brother Rich Black Magic 363 production, baby. Production. Tickets are $50 at the door. For advanced tickets, go to Black Magic, MAGIK, Magic with a K, .eventbrite.com to get your advanced tickets. I suggest you do it while you niggas got your check. You know what I'm saying? Today's Saturday, do it today. I know you got your check. Or if you feel you need more info, you can give Rich a call, 646-472-4219. Or for vending info, you can call 347-496-1022. We need to get on this. Like I said, it's rare to even catch a motherfucker just talking about metaphysics these days. They're talking about the subject, but then arguing how the other aspect of the subject. Man, there's so many ways to find light. There's no one path to it. That's the white man shit. My way or the highway. You can't call yourself a holistic being and say there's one way to do anything. You know what I'm saying? So Kemetic yoga, systematic passing of gas, whatever you want to do, if you are making progress in terms of your consciousness, then more power to it. You know what I'm saying? Who am I to judge? And I definitely won't judge as long as I'm finding my light the way I find it. You know what I'm saying? There's limits to certain human endeavors, obviously. But then that's on that human. That's not on you to really, you can mention it, I guess, and I'm sure we will. That's a natural thing. But to really go on a rampage and have an emotional attachment, you should be Boy Scouts, blah, blah, blah. And the Boy Scouts never did that. But how come the Boy Scouts? Why the Boy Scouts wear fezzes, huh? You know what the fez is? Like doing all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? All that crying. You tell me how advanced is getting you. It will get you YouTube attention. Because people love a good show. But I thought this shit here was about fucking enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. You need a showman's aspect to it. You know what I'm saying? A showman's aspect to it. But at the end of the day, if you don't walk away with some sort of aha moment, some thinking, something that you could bring back and formulate against what it is you feel you know. You understand what I'm saying? It's things that you can use, then it's worthless. It's now become all entertainment, all flexing, dick measuring contest. You know what I'm saying? Everybody arguing each other down to an absolute nowhere, and then making other videos saying how they all won. Like I said, and they're only saying it to the people who came and followed them, who believed in what they were saying anyway. So they're saying, yeah, you won, nigga. Yeah, you sure won. And when he did that and when you did that. And then the other dude on the other side is saying the same thing. And the people who came there to follow him sitting in one room all together saying, nah, nigga, you the man. You the man. No, you the man. You the man. You the man, Mookie. Stay black. That's all that really the shit amounts to. So real motherfuckers on the study, you know what I'm saying, y'all know better. Because I'm glad to say, as I move around this country and lecture, I'm seeing them seats packed. The motherfuckers was there to learn. Motherfuckers there to change their reality. You know what I'm saying? Niggas don't want to hear it. And then there's a couple of niggas who try to bring that debate mentality. They came to argue. And then they'll see how embarrassed they are when there is no argument. Because in the end of the day, whatever you say, I don't give a fuck, nigga. Do it, nigga. Should see you on the other side, nigga. You do it. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck do I care? If you walk around with a round earth existence or a flat earth existence, nigga, you still walking around stupid. Stupid. Nigga, this nigga came to the lecture in Philly or New Orleans. Sat there the whole time. And then started talking about how the earth is round. You know, I said, really? How the fuck do you know? Tell me. See, all you have to do is, once a nigga start exclaiming this shit, just tell them how the fuck do you know? And if they're not a seasoned debater, that's perfect. When you talk to the people who agree with seasoned debaters, then you'll find they don't know nothing. They just emotionally attach themselves the same way you look at a boxer like his shorts and pick him because you don't know boxing. I like him. I want him to win. Why do you like him? Because I like their helmets. You know what I'm saying? So you like this. You really just don't know. So I was like, how the fuck do you know? Oh, the ancestors told you. What ancestors? Well, the Moors told you. Where did they teach it? That the earth was round. They only said what everybody else said. And remember, these understandings got deeper and deeper. So there may be Moors, and we're talking about the historical Moors now, who know these deeper understandings that just waited till people got to initiation to that level where they can handle the shit and not have a fucking nervous breakdown like half these niggas are in denial about certain information that comes out about it. Not even investigating automatically says no. What have you investigated? This nigga white boy came out with 200 proofs that you could do yourself. Have you investigated or read that and said, nah, I'm still not convinced. Or maybe I am convinced. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So do you have this bipartisan way of approach? No, you don't. So I can feel the emotion about it, and then you're going to lose with me because I'm not emotional about this shit. Nah, the ancestors. I said, well, the ancestors also show Newton Geb, and she's over him as they separated into a dome, and he's a flat Earth-like. So what of that? We just ignore that as well, and there's no answer besides, well, I just feel it's round. Like, what do you now you've revealed yourself, and I told him, you said you feel it's round. We in this motherfucker now, and it ain't about feelings. I feel it's flat. But I also feel I don't need to convince your monkey ass of shit, motherfucker. You can go out and believe whatever the fuck you want to believe. That Santa Claus will be coming down your chimney to deliver gifts. I don't give a fuck. Nigga, I'll be damned if I sit here and argue with you. And he just sat there with that stupid, baffled look on his face. Then his sister said, she seen this nigga in the airport working, pushing a fucking mop, saying, yeah, panic this and panic. I don't believe in panic. So he came not even interested in my work, just waiting for the opportunity to challenge me. He told her this. At the end of the day, go ahead and finish pushing that broom for them airport people. You're showing exactly how much power you have. So when I throw shit on the floor as I was leaving, then you can sweep it up and be deep as you want to be. And not to take away from anybody who has a sweeping job as a janitor or whatever. Just saying, know who the fuck you are and what you're doing. If I was a janitor, I'm going to play that role. I'm going to say to men who come before me, if I can't manifest, because I know nobody wants to sweep that floor. Nobody's like, oh, God damn it. Oh, my God, that's a 3/4 length inch broom. God damn it, you need to be using 4 quarters, niggas. I went to college for this shit. Oh, and then you're going to need a dust mop on it. Oh, wait, whoa. You ain't ready to use the buffer, nigga. The buffer is some complicated shit. Those are terrazzo floors, and you got to use amphetamine on that. And when you mix the amphetamine with the alkaline in the androzo, in the terrazzo, it's going to shine, nigga. It's going to shine, and you're going to get a tip that year. You're going to get a tip for your shine, nigga, and don't do it on the baseboards. You don't hear nobody talking about that about janitor. You know what I'm saying? If they do, they got to be fucking crazy. So if I'm a fucking janitor, where do I get the audacity to come in some metaphysical? And it really doesn't speak on your metaphysics. It speaks on your ability to manifest on whatever you're going to call this world. Because I know you manifesting that fucking sweeping job, my nigga. So that to me is a problem. That's why I was stepping metaphysical, and I'm all ears like, how the fuck do I get out this job? And not so much a job into a better job as much as it's about trying to get to a place where I'm comfortable. I'm at peace. I'm happy with what I do getting up, even though I still understand it's a slave system. The system must go and this and that. But if you in it and you got to do it, you'd rather be doing something better than fucking mopping on terrazzo floors. That I'm sure of. So it's not like how can he challenge me, but I didn't get into this for challenges, to debate or argue or to prove my point. I say what I say, and you can, and I say where I get it from. I'll tell you if it's coming from me or coming from a base of study, and you take what you want and you leave alone what you don't want. The end. The end. You come to what kind of life? See, it's not just him mopping up. It speaks to his whole life. You came to a debate. You came to a lecture with me just to eventually have an argument. What a fucking loser. What a fucking loser. Another nigga sat during debate, during the break, came to me in some other place and said, yo, how do you see? I would give out liquor at my lectures, letting niggas come up and get a little sip in them. I didn't do that the last couple of times, but niggas been coming up with some dumb shit by the time we get the break. You know what I'm saying? And this nigga said, how do I win at dice doing this? I said, to be quite honestly, my brother, you need to get the fuck away from me. You know what I'm saying? To downgrade my shit into a dice rolling game. You know what I'm saying? You know, one motherfucker found out my barber in Brooklyn. Okay. I think if you're doing this shit, y'all should be able to find the lotto numbers. Why ain't nobody rich at lotto? I said, how come you ain't asked Jesus to give you lotto numbers? Don't play with Jesus. I'm like, then why you playing with my shit, nigga? So to downgrade it to a dice rolling game, shit on. So now the other half of the lectures, he's sulking. He's got his pout face on the whole rest of the lecture. So now I kindly alluded to like, yo, dude, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to pout. You know what I'm saying? You know, brighten up, dog. This shit is much more advanced than the dice game. So now he puts his question up. He's got his heart. He starts doing them words. Well, the pontification in the roundabout, like, so now he needs to show me he's deep because he's been outed for this dice rolling shit. I said, to be quite honest, brother, I don't know what in the fuck you talking about. Next question. And Bobby showed me that. Bobby's like, motherfuckers is in awe. He said, people ask me a question. I said, I ain't answering that shit. But when this college thing where you have to cater to these motherfuckers. And he's like, man, I ain't answering that dumb shit if I don't feel like you heard what I fucking said. You know what I'm saying? Like Bobby did a whole lecture when he was on the Baron Samedi thing, when he was channeling that, he talked about skulls. He got in the skull aspect of it. And then some dude raised his hand. I know everything you said about the skulls, but what about the bad skulls? Like the Illuminati. Like, this is when the internet was coming big, so Bobby was used to a smaller network of people who were born and bred on the things that they were talking and seeing the evolution of it, so they understood exactly where he was coming from, he's about. So these new niggas is showing up because they seen him on YouTube at this point. So he's like taken back, like, and I'm like, and I swear, remember that dude? That's every day for me now. That's every day. And because he didn't really make that connection. He's like, you know, you need to this, that, the other. And I'm like, nah, you wouldn't do it. I said, now the internet is like being at a lecture and never leaving. And he said, because he knows let's say at his height, he was doing 3 or 4 lectures a month. Then went down to 2 lectures a month. He's there and he's interacting and he knows he has to answer questions and be with people. Then you go home. This shit is 24 hours. Email. You know, we see the email as a live interaction. So you can email somebody at 4 in the morning. It's not rude. And they're asking and doing this and doing this. Even if you see the question and you know you're not going to answer it, the question still weighs on you in a certain kind of way because it feels like a person still asks you. So somebody may say, can elephants fly? You may not answer that shit, but you be like, what? You're still going to react to it. And it's like that with email. So I'm explaining it. He's like, oh, shit. So I'm saying, look, if y'all think skulls are evil, then what do you think of the skull you're wearing on the top of your fucking neck every goddamn day? It's in your fucking head, a skull. Skulls are not evil. Skull means skill, and they're usually attached to death and the dark side because this is where the dark side is. This is a gateway to the dark side. So the X represents unknown, and the unknown is here, but it's actually seemingly unknown. It's unknown from the outside looking in as a human. But to go into this, which represents the Darth, the crossroads, is to go here into the skill or the skull. So you see all these dark entities holding skulls because what they represent is the skill. If you fuck with them, La Santísima Muerte, holding a skull like this, or Oya, which is the same deity of the cemeteries, because it represents death, dark, unknown, or knowledge, nigga, knowledge. Old fuckers, sick old fuckers, you sick old fuckers. Hotep-luya, Hotep-luya. You niggas need to grow up. You know what I'm saying? Grow up and teach. Genius minds out here arguing with other genius minds. Do genius mind shit. Don't fall into that. Genius mind shit. Just teach something. Teach something. Don't fall into these fucking lapdogs. Oh yeah, man, I learned so much from you. They ain't learning shit. Question them. And watch them repeat YouTube shit to you. I can embarrass motherfuckers all the time if I just question them, what does that mean? And I don't do it to embarrass in my class, but I show from class, and I'm up to cycle motherfucking 42 now. I show in my class that what are chakras? Oh, vortexes, spinning wheels of light. You know, all the shit that you would read in a goddamn textbook. I'm like, but no one could tell me something personal about it. Well, this is what happened when I worked on my solar chakra. Never hear that. Who's Isis? The queen, the goddess mother, the wife of Osiris, mother of Horus. No one just says, I think my mom's is Isis. Khadijah's Isis. Then they have a practical understanding of what that energy is. And that's actually what Isis is, every black woman on earth. Hathor is her cosmic aspect. Kali's cosmic being is the great divine mother. Her avatar on earth is the destroyer of humanity, which is the 8 ignorances, or the 8 somethings of humanity. And this is because it's a dual role understanding of how the energy is down here and up there. Mary Magdalene, the whore. Mary, the virgin, up here. Getting it, nigga. Getting it, nigga. Don't stop. Get it. Get it. Come on, nigga. Let's get it, nigga. Let's get it. So this is going to be a smash. You know what I'm saying? Because I love this subject. Talking about this little fucking matrix that we plugged into. You know what I mean? The simulation that we plugged into. I love this shit. So I'm gonna go deeper into the simulation, how your mind works, how to unplug. You know what I'm saying? How to begin the process. I should really say of unplugging, because it's actually a process. And goody goody gumdrops. Goody goody gumdrops. I'll see you June 3rd. I'm sure I will. There also will be a webinar. The information to come. Make sure you check out my radio show. We do it most Tuesdays. You can go to my website to find out all the information for my radio show, for the products. Y'all know I sell my herb pack. It's 10 years deep. It is a slow process. If you have no patience, do not buy from me. If you have no patience, do not buy from me. It's going to take patience for this. I have a product that's 10 years old and a worldwide audience. You do the math, son. I'll do a lecture like this, and then people get excited and buy a shitload. And then there's regulars that goes on some catch up. You just never know. People will just buy in droves. People get a tax season. You name it. Any little money thing that could possibly happen to niggas, boom, they go crazy. So it's a wait. It's a one-man operation. I can't parcel it out to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Don't want hands on my product. This is a very special, unique product. Only in the world that opens up your pineal, and that's my herb pack. Baths, all of that stuff. Spiritual baths. My classes. I have my classes, How to Speak to Spirits. It's more of a workshop. I'm going to have to change that to a workshop. So I have a workshop on how to speak to spirits. Things to, how to build the imagination. Things like that. So you can get that at my site, occultlectures.com. It's the same as bing, right there in the corner where it says occultlectures.com. The channel you watching on YouTube is the website. occultlectures.com. You can find out anything. occulturallyspeaking.com is Visa's site. She'll keep all the dates of all the cities that I'm going to do a live lecture in. So if it's near you or you're in that city, you can attend live all the webinars, how to get the webinars to the live lectures. This one is by Rich, so Rich will have a webinar and you will get that information. Just for all the information to get to my radio show, which is on TalkShoe Radio. The code is 140203 pound to get to my show. Tuesdays, we usually go at 10, 15, 10:30 sometimes. That's when we start. It's a late show. And we got our crew, Pandemonium Radio crew. That's where you can hear all the updates, all the information, all the things you need to know to keep abreast with what's going on, any changes, anything. But this one here is written in stone. Everybody signed. The building is paid for. So it's a matter of getting there. Rich already buying tickets. It's on. June 3rd. It's on. So this is going to be a monster. You know what I'm saying? So this and all other things, go to occultlectures.com and you will find what you need. My classes, the next class schedule, you know what I mean? Things like that. You'll find there. But like I said, if you buy products, you just buy way in advance. If you're thirsty and thirsty, you may want to wait or hold off until you're not as thirsty. And why do I have so many people buying it? Why did it last for 10 years? Why is the list long and the wait long and it's in high demand? Because my shit works, player. Pineals open. Testimonials, I don't even put them shits up no more. You know what I'm saying? There's just too many. It's too much work putting up testimonials. So I put enough up there. You see what this shit has done for folks in the life-changing experiences they had just by one tote. Blow your fucking mind. I had no idea it would work that good. In fact, when the spirit told me to sell it, I was like, nigga, that's my boy KL. I was like, nigga, please. These niggas gonna be handing that back in droves. These dead ass fucking Hotepalooza ass niggas. Hotepalooza ass niggas. They're gonna be sending that shit back. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, it worked out the other way. Motherfuckers, my repeat customers pretty much can pay my mortgage. So I'm not thirsty. There's people, let me explain to you how business works. I mean, nigga, do you even listen to what I teach? I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to be a businessman, motherfucker. What in the fuck is wrong with y'all niggas? You're supposed to do this. No, I'm telling you right now, do not buy it. If you need me to say, if you say, well, Patty, this is really long, could you check to see? Oh, I do that all the time. I keep meticulous records of what I've sent out. And I'll just say, fuck it, I don't feel like looking, I'll send you. It's just a herb pack, I'll send you another one. What's your address? Sometimes it's just as simple as that. But when you start, where is this and that? I'll just give you your money back and go, I don't know. Because I'm not trying to be a businessman. I'm not trying to kiss your ass. And I don't need you to kiss mine. Or if I need to ask you for something, then all I'm going to ask you for is patience. And if you don't have it, I won't beg you for it. Don't buy it. Listen closely. If you don't have patience, don't buy it. If you don't have patience, don't buy it. The only thing I ask you for is patience. It's a product that is very popular because it works and has been working for quite some time. We're talking 10 years, literally, not figuratively, literally 10 years of selling this product around the world. No, it's popular, son. And so you the new guy who wants to buy it and try it and you're excited, just be prepared to wait. So June 3rd is going to be a thing. We're going to bring it. Everybody's going to bring it. I know that. I look forward to seeing you live. Come to New York. Take a trip to New York. Ain't no big deal. I'm going to have herb packs, my rose water spray, something I only sell at lectures called the cherry bomb. You put that cherry bomb up here. Astral traveling, baby. You're going to dream and snore like Visa if you're at the eclipse, nigga. And let me tell you, that's been, motherfuckers, yo, let me get some more of that shit. And I'm like, well, I break the rules sometimes for people I know, but ultimately you can only get it at live lectures. I'm gonna bring that shit, the cherry bomb. You know what I'm saying? Other shit I'm using that's off the hook. My rose water, my herbs. Maybe I'll bring books. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, that shit gets heavy. So maybe I'll bring books. I might just mail some fucking books to my sister's house. Maybe I'll do that. Mail some books to my sister's house. And just have books in New York. Perhaps. But I'm gonna say peace on this note. You know what I'm saying? Remember, my Queen Khadijah has her classes. You can go to her website, Samedi Readings, with an S, Samedi, SAMEDI readings.com. Or you can go connect to her through my site, Occult Lectures. Everything you would ever need to know, contact me, is on my site. You Google Brother Panic, and first page in Google, everything comes up. Occulteric Tees, where you can get your occult t-shirts. Occulturally Speaking, where you can get my DVDs of live lectures and see my upcoming events for Visa and the webinar information for live events that I do. All of that comes up, and all of that is linked under more I can't remember. It's on my site at the top at one of the menus. You know what I'm saying? So let's get it. I want to see you guys June 3rd. I want y'all to listen to what I've said in these last 3 hours and 11 minutes, 24 seconds, 25. And take it to heart. You know what I'm saying? Take it to heart. Start absorbing it. Start meditating on these things. So if you hear something that resonates with you, what you want to do is take that line, close your eyes, meditate, and probe it in your mind. Take it everywhere you can. Take it down every road you can until you have exhausted that idea. You understand? And that's how you come to a place of understanding, because what you just did was express wisdom. You became wise on the information, and that's the process. You know what I'm saying? So peace, humaniste, Hotepiluya, Burgande, Ubalo Umbele, Aso, Aloha.